Yeah.
Welcome to the Hop Edition podcast, brought to you in association with the Malt Miller, your go-to choice for premium homebrewing ingredients and equipment. Whether you're a beginner starting out or an experienced brewer, the Malt Miller has got you covered. So for top quality products and customer service, jump over to themaltmiller.co.uk and tell them the Hop Edition sent you. We would also like to thank all our Patreons for their continued support with running and developing the pod. If you would like to become a member and gain access to exclusive perks and benefits, head over to patreon.com/the Hop Edition. Now it's time to get this pod started, so crack open a homebrew and enjoy the episode.
Well, here we are, we're live again. Episode 118. Tricky's changed. You might notice that. Looks a bit different, does Tricky?
Shaved and lost a bit of weight.
Yeah, shaved, lost a little bit of weight.
Oh, he's lost all his hair.
Same amount of hair. Today we are joined by this wonderful human, the man who makes everything work, the man who, despite his follicular disadvantage, still manages to produce what we're going to find out is beer. Whether it's good or not, the jury is still out. However, before we jump into this, before we start grilling him like the steaks that he did the other day and made me extremely jealous, and those Mediterranean vegetables, you know, sometimes you just got to stay off Facebook, don't you? You do. So we're joined by James Stiff, aka Stiffo, from the Malt Miller, the man who I'm pretty sure all of you have seen his videos. I'm pretty sure all of you have heard him talk. He's just a top dude. And he brews beer, so we figured, let's have him on. We'll just have a bit of a chat. It's Saturday night.
Let's drink all his beer.
We're going to drink all his beer. Certain parts of my anatomy are currently floating because it's that sweaty. It's not the best day to be smashing back 8%ers, so we do this for your entertainment, people. That's what we're going to do.
So humble, aren't we?
We are. Before we do all this, we obviously have to give a massive shout out to the Malt Miller. They're our partner sponsor. We love them dearly. From Rob with his amazing beard, Reiki with his... The turn of phrase that Reiki has is the bit that just makes me just chuckle all the damn time. And let's face it, we all know that Joe runs the place and everybody else is just there for a bit of fun. So, you know, credit where it's due. We've got all these guys. If you need anything homebrew related or coffee related or barbecue rub related or pizza oven related, in fact, or beer related these days, just go to the Malt Miller. Just sort them out. They're amazing. Top blokes. And we're just going to have a Saturday night down a pub with Stiffo, drink some of his beers, and press him for information that he should not be revealing. Putting not too fine a point on it. That's where we're going. So, welcome, Stiffo. We love you, man.
Look, thanks for having me again, guys. You know, this is my third time maybe coming on here now. Obviously with other people, but first time by myself, and first time that you're all getting to experience some of the beers that I've made. I don't think any of you have actually tried any beer that I've made in the past, so I'm mildly brown trousering, or you know,
Squeaky bum time.
The hottest day of the year.
Could go one of two ways, Stiffo. It's either going to land beautifully or not.
It'll be fine, man. It'll be fine.
And for those of you that know me, I've had a really heartbreaking experience in the past that I'm sure we'll get onto at some point, where I gave a beer to somebody once that I massively admired. I brewed it, and it was riddled with diacetyl.
Happens.
I mean, the lid's still on that lager that you've sent, mate, and I can smell it from here. So, the banter is going to be fierce tonight, boys. So, before we do that, before we jump into Stiffo's beers, let's have a quick whip round and do a what we drinking. If it's going to reveal anything that we're going to talk about later, just say the name and just go, shh, and move on. and we'll see what happens. What are you drinking, Stiffo?
My single decocted lager.
Okay. Andy?
Snap.
Okay, Stiffo single decocted lager. Owen, what are you drinking? Okay, so it's just me then. I'm going to use this opportunity to give some props out, right? This is a 2% Radler.
Right,
and it's by Burnt Mill. I was not expecting this beer to be anything other than something that I would use while I was on the barbecue to maybe throw on some chicken.
But
I'll be honest with you.
Chris.
This is a fucking banger. This is such a good beer. It's lemony and it's really light, but there's loads of flavour. I mean, why doesn't Sophie just come on the podcast and she could talk about this herself? I'll be honest. This is an absolute banger of a beer. Guys, if you haven't got this, Burnt Mill have got some utterly phenomenal beers on at the moment. Go and buy some of these. It's amazing.
I
wasn't expecting
for
this.
It, Chris.
You're damn right I did.
Yeah, I think
You're
like
damn right.
Radler's like gonna hit the spot on a day like today.
There's not a lot of it left either. It's an absolute cracker.
Because Burnt Mills, all of Burnt Mills is gluten free, aren't they? Or are they? They're all.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's a absolute banger of it. And I know it says on the front it's made by Kieran Leeks, whoever Kieran Leeks is. But Mr. Leeks, dear God, you can brew some. That is a fantastic...
That's quite impressive, actually. 2%.
2%.
And it tastes
Yeah,
good.
I think Kieran is one of the team there. One of the brewers at Burnt Mill. I think we met him when we were there filming.
So it's like Kieran's... It's almost like his favourite beer.
You've been overruled.
No, they're
Martin
not.
says they're not all gluten-free.
They're not all gluten-free.
See, this is why we love Reiki, because we can just chat and Martin goes, nope, you're wrong.
Right, get one.
Of course he's lurking there. Of course he's lurking.
Oh, mate. Right, anyway, I better get the single
Overwatch.
decocted lager out. And
Yeah, dude. So, hey, you were like that, Chris. Oh, I can smell Dasso already.
I'm joking. The lid's still on. I haven't done that one.
I was like, what?
I can confirm there is no dance tool.
I can smell
Well, I wouldn't expect there to be in this. It was brewed. Let me just have a look at my brew sheet. When did I last brew this?
I love this.
So that was brewed on the 22nd of March.
Nice. And I'm guessing you used a little bit of ALDC as well.
No.
Right.
No.
What was this? What did you use?
What ingredients wise, or
Just go for the full thing.
yeah.
Quickly.
So it is 95% floor malted Bohemian Pilsner, good old Weimann, and then 5% dextrin malt.
Okay.
And then and then I had entirely Mandarina Bavaria. I had a charge at 60 minutes for 12.5 IBUs, a charge at 30 minutes to give me sort of 6.5 IBUs, and then a 10-minute charge to get 7 IBUs. Fermented with WHC après ski. It has come really good in the last couple of weeks. So when it came around that I was going to be sending you some beers, I was absolutely thrilled that it was tasting. It's really benefited from just sitting in the keg in the fridge, 4 degrees.
Also,
Nice.
Stiffo, you were really glad that there was some left, wasn't there? Because
Yeah,
you were quite
'cause
worried that there wasn't going to be enough.
I know.
Especially
Yeah.
in this weather.
I was
especially with
really
this weather.
patient with it to begin with. I left it for a good, probably a good month in the fridge after I kegged it before I tucked into it, and then it definitely during that warm spell. I know it's warm now, but we had that warm spell sort of
In May.
the
a couple of weeks back. Yeah, it's definitely been hit. But I'm really pleased with it. Wasn't fermented under pressure. Just I think I had it at 12 degrees until fermentation was complete. Bumped it up for a couple of days just to do a diet rest.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
You didn't
and
do the
then
slow crash.
No. I mean,
utopian?
I did crash it fairly slowly. I tend to cold crash slowly anyway. A couple of degrees a day, unless I'm in a rush and cheating. And then packaged it into keg.
What's your
Just in
fermenter?
the fridge. I use Grainfather GF30s. So I've got 2 of them at home, and a Grainfather glycol chiller. But then obviously if I'm at work and brewing, I've got loads of different options there, which is where I've been playing around with pressure fermentation quite a bit. And I do want to get a pressure fermenter. It's just I need to figure out which one I want, what I want from it, and then obviously getting it hooked up to my current glycol system, which I can use the GCA kit for. That'll do the job.
What were you thinking just now? Brewbelt or
no, because only brew 30. Only brew 23 litre batches. I've got a G30, so to be honest,
plastic.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm in love with the Firmzilla. I use it almost all the time at work now for bits and pieces. I'm a big fan of the Apollo Titan as well. That's really nice. For a stainless steel, for a stainless steel fermenter, I think the price point on it, a stainless steel pressure fermenter, the price point on it, it's great.
Yeah, it's just a lid, I suppose. If you can get the...
Have you got the lid, Stiffo?
The stainless one?
I might have to defer to Reiki on that, because I know he was looking at that.
Yeah.
Oh, God, who's the Malt Miller homebrewing channel? Is that Rob?
I'm guessing that must be Rob. The whole team's there.
God, everybody's here. Might as well get them all on.
They're like, don't tell him the secret sauce.
I love that. I love that Andy's turned the conversation to shiny.
I know.
His favourite subject.
So
what shiny are you thinking about?
Because I was at the Apollo plastic, but I've kind of just I'm more metal. It's got to be, and it even if I'm just doing a 23 litre batch, I prefer to do a non-pressure in the SS Brewtech Chronicle.
Yeah.
Because I can still actually get quite a good bit of pressure, just not carbonate. It'll do everything closed.
2 psi max boost.
I think it actually goes more than 2 PS max boost now. I think I've got there's a spring in it, and I think I've got it up to about 5 psi max boost now.
You know how to sort that out, don't you? Just weld that all shut. Sorted.
Just when you're putting gas into it, sit on the lid,
Yeah, and then when the clip's
perfectly safe
off, it's cool.
Yeah. Be fine, mate. Be fine. Now,
come on, then you lot. Give me some thoughts on this. Let me know what you think.
Do you know? I thought it was a Saz. It was like, it wasn't until you says Mandarina Brevaria, because I did mine's just kicked last weekend. I had a decocted Saz. Czech Pils, and I think it's what's driving this is that Bohemian Pilsner malt, like the whole flavour, like it is insane how much that actually brings to the party here. It's now the Brevaria is like that sort of is it, we all say it's that orangey thing, but there's loads of spice.
It's got meadow. It's got like meadow in bags, which is really nice. I think you can note the decoction as well. There's
a pretty sweetness, isn't there? Yeah. Depth, roundness to it. I mashed it. I can't remember now. I'll have to look back at my notes. But let's say, for argument's sake, I mashed it at 64, and then did that for like 45 minutes. Pulled off a third of the mash. Got that up to a boil just on a little camping gas burner.
Took into the house, and snuck out the house.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
And then boiled it for 20 minutes, added it back, did a mash out. It was as simple as that. So I didn't overcomplicate it. Didn't try and do working through the steps, doing a double decoction or anything. But it does add something to it. It does definitely add a layer of.
Redeem says that basically if you just do one on a homebrew level, you do one decoction step and it brings so much flavour.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And it's like, as you just described, Stiffo, it's just so much easier doing a single than trying to do a double or a triple. Oh, mate, it's like 7-8 hour brew day otherwise.
I know. I mean, we were talking about this a minute ago before we came on, right? This
went live.
Doing a single decoction like this, it can feel daunting and it can feel like you're going to be in for a really long brew day. If you're used to brewing big, juicy haze bombs where you're doing a big whirlpool, it's no longer. your brew day isn't any longer because you get to the
and you're forgetting about the cleanup. You're forgetting about the cleanup of that extra pot.
Well, but you haven't got a big whirlpool to do. You know, you're not sat there for like 40 minutes or an hour doing an extended whirlpool. Once you finish the boil, bosh straight into the fermenter, and then move on to cleaning.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I've only done it once, and I went for a double, and
big day.
Yeah, big day.
I think you live streamed that one with us in the chat.
Yeah, it was a long day that, and
day.
I'm definitely keen to have a go at a single decoction, and just keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
I've done it a couple of times, I think, now with the single, and it's just filling up I've got a little pot sort of thing, so I just fill that sucker up and then just take it to a boil. And then is it 15 minutes or something like that you hold it at a boil?
Yeah, 15-20 minutes. Yeah, keeping it moving so you get the colour development.
Yeah, it goes all sort of darker, doesn't it? It goes that kind of darker purpley sort of brownish sort of thing, and then just dump it back in, and then that takes it back up. Depends if it's like 72 or 74 degrees or something like that, if you're taking it from a 65-ish or whatever. It just knocks it up to the mash out type temp.
And it was absolutely I'd never contemplated doing decoctions at home purely because it was a bit scary and I didn't think I had enough time, all that kind of stuff. But it was filming our Brew With Us with Radim that really got me over the line with it. And then going to do the Brew With Us we did with Brew With You's, not Brew With Us, Brew With You with Lance as well. Yeah, because we did a big decoction there, and that was a big old mass that we had to boil. I was quite lucky because I was just holding the camera. Rob's in there like stirring away.
Was the Lansted the dark lag, or was it?
Yeah. Cool. And that kind of gave me the confidence to have a go at home. And it's really, it's doing this single decoction. It's if you've got a 10-15 litre saucepan and another heat source, whether it's a gas burner or your hob, just have a go with it.
Soot pot and just fill it up.
Yeah.
I think it's just you just have to do it safely.
Yeah,
and especially if you're kind of moving the pot around. It's kind of like when you're trying to bring that after you've boiled it back to your brew pot,
back to the garage,
put back in the mash. Just be super careful if anyone does that.
Don't wear flip-flops.
Don't wear flip-flops.
Or
definitely
Crocs.
get like
if you're stupid enough to be wearing flip-flops or Crocs,
no, it's Crocs.
Brew day,
that's tricky. Tricky's constantly wearing. You see his brew day footage, and then it's a pair of big black Crocs or something.
I'm the same.
It's only a matter of time.
I love my Crocs. You can tell I've turned 40. I'm wearing Crocs.
I don't own any Crocs. One thing I will say about this brew, is don't take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be negative, okay? But the only thing that I get from this is I get kind of a white, winey flavour from the hops. I'm getting that kind of almost grapey kind of thing going off. It's not unpleasant.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like it, but what I'm saying is I wasn't expecting it.
It's Mandarin a Bavaria, maybe, Chris, that you're like, because it's such a different hop.
Mandarina Bavaria is a very, very off-piece hop. I'm saying off-piece because I've just noticed Après-Ski was the yeast it used, which incidentally, love it. What a yeast. Love it. But it's just kind of, I was expecting...
I wonder if it's Après, Chris, that you're getting, because that's such it's got that sort of fruity sort of thing that goes on with that brings to the party as well.
Combination of both.
It really does add a layer of kind of yeast complexity, lagery sort of fruitiness to it, I think.
I'm desperately trying to slow down with drinking it because it's going down too well. Okay, so clearly I don't dislike the beer. It's kind of not what my palate was expecting, and I'm enjoying it. It's nice. It's just, it's not SARS and it's a decocted lager. What is going off? So, yeah, love it. I think it's a great beer. I think it's incredibly well made. There is no diacetyl. I'm going to say that. There isn't any.
For the record.
For the record.
One down.
I could smash like 10 or 15 pints of this. This is a banger. It really is.
It's very nice. Yeah, I
really
would agree.
Nice.
The aroma's definitely different. It's definitely interesting. I think Mandarina Bavaria is not so you tend to see it in a lot of commercial beers or beers.
We use it. Actually, Rob's a big fan of Mandarina Bavaria. Uses it in his one of his sort of twisted stouts. We've definitely used it in a big dark beer before because of the kind of oranginess that it can bring. That sort of marmalade note.
It's more citrus in this, isn't it? It's just it's.
See, I get a bit of lemon and lime from this, and some sort of spiciness, like you were saying, Owen. But again, it was brewing with Radham because he used most on his recipe that we did.
One, isn't it?
Yeah, just to try some different hop combinations, or some different hop varieties. And I'd been using Hallertau Blanc in this recipe, and I was enjoying it, but I just felt like I needed to try something different. That's more of a
Nelson type thing. That's more great. Blanc.
And I'd never considered the idea of using a lager as a palette to demonstrate a hop.
Oh.
And actually, it's kind of like makes a lot of sense because it's very clean.
I think if you're talking noble hops as well that have got that nuance, those subtleties that, because we all are very tuned into big, bold hop character now with, the stuff from America and New Zealand and, Australia. But I think that if you want to experience hop nuance and subtlety, European hops, and to a degree, a lot of our own hops that we grow here, brewed in the right way, you can really experience, like I said, finesse, I think is the way I'd probably put it.
Stiffo, with the ones that we had, I know Reiki's in the chat, and I know Rob and probably Joe are listening, but the last episode that we did with the guys from Farehams, when we had Will on, some of the flavours that we were getting out of those hops, grown in Hereford pretty much. Almost borderline Welsh, and we're getting great flavours.
Super American.
Phenomenal. Some of the stuff that's coming out these days is just, it's mind-blowing.
I can't wait till that stuff goes commercial. I'm on it because
321, mate.
321 was your lager, which was that's the one I've got in Hazy.
God, that was superb.
The 373 was like I had my mate Dell over last weekend, and the two of us just set about the two Farehams ones that I had, and they were just. It's just, unreal how good they are.
Some of the stuff that's coming out is just amazing. It really is. And like Andy's just said, as a future for hops, based on what we can grow in the UK, I mean, let's go.
I hope this year's a good. I hope this is a good year hop year as well for the UK, because the weather seems a bit better this year, I would say.
All I'd say is it's been very dry, hasn't it?
Very dry.
It's been
it was
super
wet.
dry this spring.
Very wet last summer.
No, we had a big long dry patch in the middle of the summer, didn't we? But
it was crazy wet at the start of the year, I think it was, and then. But even so, my hops in the back garden compared to last year hops was an absolute disaster. This year they are massive. My Saz, mine grown in the background, they're huge. So
I've just got a Fuggles that I was given years ago that hasn't done very well, and I put it in the ground. It's been in a pot, but I put it in the ground this year. Actually, end of last year after it had all died back, and it is absolutely flying this year. So I'm really hopeful I'll get a crop off of it to use. Oh, did you just see that message from Reiki? He has contracted some external stuff. Yeah, there he is.
Well done.
Get in there, Reiki. Good lad.
Yes, good lad.
They were phenomenal.
Was it the 5 tons he was saying to? It was promising. I think it was 5 tons that he was hoping to contract.
What, Reiki was going to try and contract 5 tons of experimental British hops?
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. If they were the ones that he gave to us, he'd sell them.
Go big or go home, mate.
Oh, Reiki, you legend.
Big or go home.
Have they named them yet? That'd be interesting to know if they've named them.
I've not heard anything. Again, Martin might have more information on that, as he does all
Martin's not on the podcast, Stiffo. Let's just leave Martin out of this.
Let's forget about that. Yeah.
Let's forget about Martin. He doesn't exist right now.
Mandarina Breweria. What other ones have you used in your lagers then? Have you used anything else? You mentioned Hallertau Blanc, which...
Yeah, so Hallertau Blanc, because I am a big fan of that, and I do like the sort of winey, grapey note that you get from it.
That's just Junior Nelson, isn't it?
But yeah, it is.
I don't know, because it can be... Sometimes I've had it 2 beers with it, and I found the Blanc was more pungent. It was like... Whereas I think Nelson was more sharper. The Hallertau Blanc was like... It was almost like... they're both bringing a lot to the party.
If anybody came to Love and Beer last year, the lager, the Munich Helles that we had on our kegerator that I brewed had Hallertau Blanc in it. And that recipe kit we sell, and it's, we actually sell a lot of that recipe kit. As such, we need to look at actually how much Hallertau Blanc we hold, because it's been really popular. But I've used most of the noble traditional European hops in lagers. I like SARS. I absolutely love SARS, but I don't want to just use that hop all the time. I want to push myself to try different things. So that's really the reason why I've been trying out a few different varieties in this lager. And I've also brewed this lager without decocting it a couple of times as well. And I've played around with different yeasts. Decoction versus step mash. For me, I think decoction wins hands down. You get the flavour development, you get the sweetness, you get the breadiness. And après-ski for me is now, as a dry yeast. I've used it a number of times on projects at work recently. The sort of Spanish lager, the kind of
the Madri.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. We don't know what the recipe for Madri is, and they probably don't use a lager yeast. But it was.
I don't know. Is it not? It's probably Tenants that brews it for them as well.
It's just. I spent a lot of time in the south of Spain as a kid, and probably some of my first beer experiences were drinking things like San Miguel, Cruz Campo in the sun. So we wanted to make something that kind of just did that job. And I used après-ski in that because, again, it's great. I find it a little bit more complex, a little bit more rounded than Einstein. Einstein's really good if you just want really, really crisp and clean.
Yeah.
But I like a little bit of yeast character.
I'm not a massive fan of that kind of... Was it Einstein? Chris, what was the one me and you have been absolutely the hot... What's the...
3470?
No.
Hopping Pills.
You love Hopping Pills, don't you?
We love Hopping Pills because
it
leaves a sweetness and like that bready sort of maltiness to the beer. It's insane. Like my German lager I've got on just now has got Hopping Pills, and I'm like so gutted that it's going to just be gone, but it's...
Should have bought a load like I did.
Oh, I did buy a load, but then I'm doing double batches and stuff.
That's
so I'm
true.
Putting four packets in it, sort of thing.
You're going to have to start making starters with it, mate.
I think I will. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a banger. That was a very, very, very nice lager, Stiffo. I'm not going to slate that in any way, shape, or form. That was really damn good.
See, yeah,
and
it was.
The Bavaria, whilst the Bavaria was weird,
it was great,
and not what my palate was expecting. It's gone.
I'm really enjoying the alternate hop. I think it's really floral. Good. I think it's really. There was
floral. a lot of flowers in there. Yeah,
I really like that. I really like that kind of.
So when it was quite young, I was getting a little bit of chamomile from it, and I was quite worried that maybe there was an infection or that I'd done something wrong. But that eased off massively over the first week in the keg. And you know what it's like. We always say, right, we're going to leave it, not going to try it. You always end up trying it a little bit. You want to see how the flavour develops. And then, like I said, in the last few weeks, it's really, really come good. Really come good.
It's
just,
banger.
There's a reason Budvar mature their lager for as long as they do. It definitely makes a difference.
No, when you're making 1,000 million litres per batch, you can do that though, can't you?
No, I'd vouch for that. I made... we tried my Metzen when we had
That was superb.
Guy on, didn't we, in the last podcast? And I hadn't touched that for ages. After putting it into a comp, and it did have like a slightly medicinal note to it, but that seems to have gone now. And I'm really thrilled with that beer.
That was all the beers I drank over at Dell's house. They were good. Very, very good. I don't think I picked up any medicinal on any.
No, I think it was long gone.
Oh
actually.
wait, I don't know if you sent me the. Did you? I don't think you sent me the Malt.
No, I think I sent you the saison.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah,
but I did promise the Malt Miller gang some of the medicines, so I need to get that in bottle. Get that over to you guys.
I don't think I've tried any of your beers, Owen. I've definitely had. No, maybe I have.
I need to correct this. I need to correct this.
I need to fix this.
I'll send you a little parcel. And you, Reiki, and you, Rob, and you, Joe. Don't worry.
Make sure they're gluten-free for sending them to Joe. Yeah. We don't want Joe in any pain because you're sending her gluten-riddled beers.
Chris, all my beers these days are now gluten-free because...
It makes a massive difference to the beer farts.
It does.
It makes a huge difference.
No, you're right. It does.
We do
weird.
As standard, everything we make at work, we add clarity to. Although every now and again, and I'm the worst for this, I'll forget, and then it'll get to kind of further downstream, and I'm like, oh my god, I completely forgot to add it.
Put the because it's just a little. It's like a drop.
Yeah,
it's like a drop.
It's hardly anything, is it? It's like 1 mil or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we're getting another beer. Chris has just reached into the fridge.
Well, before we jump into another beer, do you want to talk to us, Stiffo, a bit about you, and a bit about your kind of home brewing?
Or let's get another beer before we do that.
And we can talk about it whilst we have the beer, and tell us a bit about your journey. I want to hear about your journey, Stiffo.
All right. Well, my first journey is to my kegerator that's just there. Okay.
Go for it. You've got headphones in, mate. You can talk.
Do that.
You can talk just because we can't see you.
I can't do two things at once. There's plenty of people at work that will be able to testify that I can't do two things at once.
Yeah, you can't edit photos and breathe at the same time.
It's the West Coast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
What was I watching the other day? I was watching one of the old school cartoons. Was it Ren and Stimpy? Might have been Ren and Stimpy.
I used to love that.
And Stimpy walks in, he's red-faced, and he's like, this is like shaking around, and he slaps him around the head. He goes, Stimpy, you idiot! You forgot to breathe again! It's brilliant. I've got to keep
watch that. I'm pleased. This is probably the most beer I've had for a podcast for a while.
This is the most beer I've
You really have spoiled
for
us
a while.
Stiffo. Like, there's a lot of beer. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish it all, but
easy.
And function tomorrow.
Pull on your big boy pants, Owen.
So you will finish it.
I'll do my best.
I have to say, I'm dreading this one.
Well, thanks for the merch as well. Cheers, mate.
My glass. Shocking.
All right, so Owen, you wanted me to talk a little bit about me, right?
A little bit about you.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody knows that. Most people that's watching this or listening to it will know that I work for the Malt Miller. Outside of work, the biggest part of my life is that I'm a husband and dad. I've got 2 daughters. Married to my partner actually for 15 years this year. We've got two daughters, one 14 and one 12, who's literally just turned 12 this week. And that's
you had a year apiece, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And then I think when our youngest daughter was 2, we then got a puppy as well. So just get all of those things out of the way. In one hit.
Max it up.
But that's paying dividend now because the kids are really good friends. The dog is like 10 now and just loves spending time with them. So yeah, that's all good. I mean, the other things that outside of homebrewing that I'm really I say that I'm really passionate about, that I'm enjoy barbecuing, grilling, pizzas, cooking. I tend to describe it as like I love people through their stomachs. I love to feed people.
I'm there with you, bro.
Yeah. I don't think there's any better way of like expressing care for people than cooking for them or providing, sustenance, whether that be tasty beer or some food that you've put a lot of love into.
What's your barbecue? Quick question, sorry.
So I've got a Weber Master Touch.
Cool.
That's my current setup. Although that might be changing soon. And then I've got a Gosney Rock Box as my pizza oven, which we bought last year, and we didn't buy a bigger one because we didn't really know whether we were going to use it enough to warrant it. And actually, we use it loads. We've cooked so much pizza this year that we've actually said, right, okay, no. Like if there was one thing we were going to upgrade in our outdoor cooking arsenal, it would be to go for a bigger pizza oven.
Or change the stone. Go for change the biscuit to, what do you call it, a Neapolitan biscuit stone. That's what I did.
It's absolutely no, like the stone is absolutely fine. I don't have any problems cooking on it. It's just that actually I'd quite like to be able to do like 14-inch pizzas or maybe something a bit bigger.
What would you go for? Would you stick with Gosney, or would you go for something else?
Yeah, I would probably I'd probably stay with the Gosney, but I'd go for the Arc XL. I think not the Dome because it's too big for what I need, and I've got other things to.
So you'd stick with gas basically, and you don't want the wood fire.
Yeah.
I think you've just been outed by Rob. What upping your barbecue game? You're stepping up from the Master Touch. What are you going to?
So
Kamado.
Yeah. It's about time. Pull on your big boy pants, Stiffo.
Do you know what? Chris used to absolutely hammer me about my Weber kettle. Absolutely hammer me. And so I've now got a 24-inch Kamado. Kamado, wow. Like, it's nuts, isn't it? It's just like...
The difference is phenomenal.
No, it's like low and slow. It's like, haha, I can do a 10-hour low and slow, no bother. You just fill the sucker up, and away you go, and we've got the temp control now with the Inkbird stuff that blows the fan, and you just...
Oh, have you got one of them? That's cool.
Yeah. And then just do a brisket or whatever you want, or ribs, or... I mean, tonight we've been smash burgers with that. Was it Angus and Oink, the black gold stuff?
Oh man,
that's great. That stuff is just like it's so
umami, isn't it?
It's not, and the missus is like, make sure that black gold's in the burgers, Okay,
all right. Before we get too far off topic here, let's go with a quick round robin. Okay, straight off, click. I'm going to point at you. Well, I'm not going to point at you because clearly you won't have a clue that I'm pointing at Andy when I do that. When I say your name, what's your favourite thing to cook on a barbecue? Andy, go.
Ribs, I think.
Pork or beef?
Pork, yeah.
Owen?
I'm going beef ribs.
Stiffo? No, this is one that you have to just top of your head.
Quick fire.
Pork butt. I love doing a pork butt and shredding that bad boy down because it's the gift that keeps on giving. We stick it in the freezer. You can bring it out, put it on pizzas. Do loads of stuff with it. So I love everything else that everyone said, but pork butt just works, doesn't it?
Beef ribs for me.
I'm
I've never seen my wife smile as much as when I do beef ribs on a Kamado. But you got to get your wood right. Got to get your wood right, boys. It's hickory or mesquite.
Boneless chicken thighs has got to be next. Like,
I'm changing mine to the Kelly Bab. On a rotisserie. It's got to be on a rotisserie.
It does, yeah. Rob's a big fan of the Kelly Bab, and he's actually done it at work for the team when we've had a big barbecue at work.
How big was the Kelly Bab? How big's the Rotis?
Oh, I can't remember. I might have a picture somewhere of it. But
sizable.
Well,
it was on his he brought in his Master Touch, so it was the rotisserie that goes on that.
So that's they're an 18-inch, aren't they? That's an 18-inch.
That's a pellet smoker. Is it?
No, Weber Master Touch kettle.
It's just a kettle.
Okay.
Oh no, that's a 12-inch then, isn't it? It's a 14-inch grill.
57-centimeter grill.
Wow, we're getting really nerdy now.
Yeah.
Let's change up.
Oh, interesting shout from Rob himself. Goat shoulder.
All right.
Oh yeah, we went. Actually, I can testify to that because we went to Rob's for a bit of a shindig recently because he might have had a big birthday this year.
Oh yeah,
20, he was 21 again.
5 times 2.
21 for the 70th time. Yeah.
And yeah, Rob smoked a goat shoulder, and it was absolutely banging. Like
unreal.
Yeah, so good. We are really lucky. We've got a great farm shop kind of butchery near us. It's like a 15-minute drive from work. So quite often on like a Friday lunchtime, we'll drive over there, go and get some bits and pieces for the weekend. The butcher's really good, and always, if he doesn't got something in the fridges or on the counter, if you ask him, he'll go and sort it out for you. And yeah, just absolutely banging. Jacob's ladders from there are stunning.
Bit of fat in the goat and
Jacob's ladders are amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wait there. Reiki's chimed in. Pork belly, porchetta for the win.
Yeah, I had porchetta last weekend.
It's so hard, isn't it?
Is anyone getting hungry now?
Yeah. Hold on, I've got some peanuts. That's about the best I can do.
Oh, pass them round, Owen.
Yeah, hold on. Open your mouth.
All I've got is a frigging Starbucks.
Mini packets of KP.
Yeah.
To be fair, when I did Kelly Bear Blast, which was a few weeks ago, I made Turkish flatbreads.
Yeah.
And super easy. But if you get a wok and turn it upside down and put it on the hob, you need gas, obviously. And then you cook them on top of the upturned wok. It works really well.
Oh,
that's actually how they do it in Turkey. They have this huge kind of almost like domed metal kind of plates. That's how they cook their bread.
My God, that is a pro tip.
Yeah, works great, and they were like nice and thin, so that you could wrap, you could make a kebab, you could wrap it up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share the recipe actually. So it works great.
I'm so doing that.
I'll send you the recipe, mate.
Was it yogurt?
Fuck this beer shit off. Let's just talk about food all night.
Nah. Right, let's get back. Should we talk about? Right, back.
Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this house pale? Because this.
I think actually we were listening to Stiffo.
That's true. We've completely gone off on a tangent.
He got as far as
it's because I mentioned outdoor cooking, and that's just a rabbit hole, right?
Yeah.
Our meetings on a Monday, they're like business meetings that we have every Monday morning, but we always end up spending half an hour talking about what we cooked at the weekend because we're all just passionate about it. We're makers. We love, like I said earlier, we love making stuff. We love like feeding people and showing, I think, love for our friends and family through creating. The other stuff that I guess I'm interested in, like a bit of, watch quite a lot of movies, love coffee. There's a bit of a theme here, really, but the main thing for me is just being present as a dad for my girls, being around that kind of stuff. And actually, that's one of the big reasons why I came to work for the Malt Miller. So I started homebrewing in like late 2016, early 2017, and I was I'd worked in retail like my whole life. I'd worked in like fashion retail. I'd worked in footwear. I was an area manager for a footwear company for a few years, and then I worked in like technology retail, big box sort of technology, and anyway, met a few people that were really into beer and kind of open minds. I'd always been into beer and liked beer, but I was kind of, fairly macro, but I did enjoy quite a lot of cask beer because of where I grew up. There was lots of good sort of cask beer available. And a really good friend of mine, James, came around to my house one day. Laura, my other half, and the kids were away for the weekend. He came around actually to barbecue. And he just got back from the States. And I picked him up from Swindon Station, and he's wheeling a suitcase down the platform. He's got a white Panama hat on, and he's blowing a whistle. And he's walking towards me with this suitcase, and it's like his party whistle and his party suitcase. Anyway, get back to my house, open the suitcase up, and it's full of things like Sculpin, Bell's Two Hearted, Pliny, just beers that I'd never experienced, and just blew me away. And I think I spent the rest of that weekend watching YouTube videos on how to homebrew. that then kickstarted me into actually getting into homebrewing. Throughout that, it's like you're looking for like local homebrew suppliers. Malt Miller popped up in my search results. Then I went to buy some Star San. Walked into this like warehouse. I'm thinking, is there going to be a shop here? And there's not. It's a warehouse. This guy comes up to me and says, "Oh, you got an order?" I was like, "Yeah, I need to get this." Anyway, that was Rob, and Rob then spent like 20 minutes showing me round, and we had one warehouse at that point, or rather, they had one warehouse at that point. But took me round, showed me everything, took me upstairs, showed me the brew school. We got chatting, and I kind of just then carried on using Malt Miller, and my homebrewing journey progressed more and more towards all grain. I was doing like, I was buying the sort of 3 kilo jerry cans of malt extract and then some grain and doing partial mash. And, it's like a small boil and add in hops. And as I think a lot of people did back at that kind of time. Anyway, this was also around the time that the whole BrewTube thing was massive. The Facebook group was massive. There was loads of beer mail being posted around, and that was a huge influence on me.
Tricky was probably part of that as well.
Like Tricky was in there. Steve Ogden, I sent quite a lot of beers back and forth with him. I think he's down kind of your way, Owen. And then Sarah, obviously, Sarah Pantry, just these people, Graham Preston, just sort of people that were really quite inspirational. And I started, getting involved in some of that. I was posting some beers out to people. Timmy Jenkins, those kind of characters. And we were sharing beers and doing videos and, posting them up on YouTube and that kind of stuff, like Homebrew Wednesday, that sort of thing. And then I remember saying to Rob when I went to collect an order at some point, would you let me film an interview with you to put on my YouTube channel? And he was like, yeah, of course. So we did that. And I was also, where I was working at the time, I was a manager and I was looking after a team that were kind of filled with like creative people, photographers, videographers, musicians, and they were really inspiring me to learn how to edit video, right, and how to kind of learn software to do that, because I've never, I'm not trained in any of that. I haven't studied any of that stuff or photography or anything at any level. So they were sort of teaching me, or passing things on, giving me advice. So I was editing videos that I was kind of learning on the fly. I was shooting videos, learning on the fly. And the opportunity came to interview Rob, did that. They went really, really well, and there was quite a positive reaction to them. And then Rob said to me, do you think you could do some videos for us? So we did a couple of videos on some bits and pieces around the Malt Miller, like looking at the malt room and the hop room and just talking a little bit kind of behind the scenes. Anyway, not long after that, Rob then said to me, do you want to do this, periodically for us, kind of on a freelance basis? So I was going in maybe once a month, filming a couple of videos, editing them, and then putting them out there. It was around about the same time Reiki joined as well. So that's how we first became friends. And it sort of snowballed a bit really from that. And actually during the lockdown period, they were filming stuff at work, sending it to me, I'd edit it and then upload it onto the different platforms we were using at the time, because we were putting stuff on Facebook and on YouTube at that time. Anyway, I think it was probably about summer 21, I officially stepped down to 4 days a week at my other job, my previous job.
What were you doing?
I was a store manager for like big box sort of technology. So I dropped a day a week there. I wasn't the only manager. There was a big team of managers there, so it wasn't like there wasn't. They were really supportive, put it that way. So I dropped a day a week there. Started doing a day a week on site at Malt Miller, and then because I was working in Bath, I was getting the train every day, so I was using that time to edit videos, to do newsletters, just bits and pieces. That's when it really started to ramp up the work I was doing in terms of marketing for Malt Miller. And anyway, in the December, it was actually Joe that said to me, would you like to come and work for us full time? And
this is far more fun.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, so Joe, I think Joe's already talked about this on this podcast before, but she runs an event once a year that's nothing to do with beer. Actually, it's to do with like emergency services vehicles and that kind of stuff. And I'd been going to photograph that for her over the sort of couple of years leading up to that. So it's a week away. We go and do that for a week. It's really good because it's not anything beery, right? Which for me, from a creative perspective, is good. Well, it's good because it pushes me to go and do something different, right? And then, so we'd been and done that in the November, and then actually I think it was the week after, she said to me, well, she sent me an email and said, we've got an opening for this role, and it was basically everything. Yeah, but because of the stuff I was doing in my previous job as well, I was doing a lot of in-store HR work, and had been leading teams and managing people. So
that's cool.
Malt Miller got to the point where they needed somebody to kind of do some of that. So, I think it took me less than 24 hours to go back to her with a yes. And there is a funny story.
You thought I better just double check instead of just saying yes straight away. Just like
play it cool, right? Don't just just play it cool. But it took a bit of consideration because there were some bits and pieces we needed to consider from a family perspective. But actually, it meant that I'm at home now. I sit down and have dinner every night with my family. Unless I'm away or, for some reason, which that didn't happen before. Most weekends I'm at home with my family, which didn't happen before. Those are things that are so important. And, but underpinning all of that, I'm doing something that I love. Mm-hmm. Whereas before it was a job, and I think
you don't go on a Monday and go, oh no, it's like, you're skipping.
It's not. It's not the Sunday night feeling, is it?
No. Yeah. There's no. It's a business, and we work really hard, and some days are tough, right? That's life.
Work hard, but it's a work hard, play hard environment.
Yeah,
which was really good.
Yeah, and when things might be, someone might be having a difficult day. Rob's the first to kind of remind us all and say, hey, we're not trying to save lives here. Right, don't beat ourselves up too much. There is a funny story about me, a fun fact, shall we say, about me going to work for the Malt Miller, which I have had approved to talk about. So
you've got an approved talk.
You have to get clearance for this.
For this one, I did, yeah.
So, okay.
This is juicy.
Joe offered me the job with the Malt Miller without discussing it with Rob.
This is why I always say Joe runs the place and Rob's just there.
She made an executive decision, and I'd like to think that neither of them regret that now, nearly 3.5 years in.
Have you ever spoken to Rob about whether or not he regrets this?
Well, he's on the chat. I'll let him answer that.
Yeah, Rob.
We'd like your comments, right? But you think about the Malt Miller YouTube channel, right? Like 4 years ago, whatever, were you the lead in like home brewing, like bringing information to the home brew community? 4 years ago, probably not. There was probably other people out there that was doing stuff. See today, who is bringing everything? Like, who is the leading person, like worldwide? Because I don't think like just that Malt Miller is bringing information for the UK. It's like everybody's listening. Like the guys in America will be listening to the Malt Miller. Everyone will know who you guys are, and it's because of what you're bringing to YouTube, and it's like you, Stiffo, right? Like what you've brought to that team, and it's incredible. I would say. Yeah.
I remember say this. I will say, I'm going to butt in. I will say this.
Oh, don't bring him down. You're just like,
I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Calm down. Calm down. I'm not that much of a twat all the time.
I watch the Malt Miller YouTube videos.
Right.
So.
The one thing that I will say is there is a gentleman on the chat who lives in Georgia. Not the state, the country. He's a Welsh lad. He's called Di. And he had a delivery from you guys during the week because he posted about it on our Discord channel. And if you're shipping stuff to Georgia, and Di's a top lad. We talk to Di a lot on our Discord channel. He's brilliant. For him to say, I ordered it from the Malt Miller and customs didn't cut it to pieces this time, that's a good thing, right? If you're shipping stuff to Georgia, clearly you're doing something right. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, you're both very kind words. I think, when I started full time, I made one clear commitment, which was that we were going to put a video out every week, right? And that sounds simple to say, right?
But actually, that's consistency, right?
Yeah, and coming up with content that is either educational, informative, inspiring, every single week is a challenge.
That's hard work. It's hard work.
And then the planning, the filming, the editing, all of that kind of stuff. Because like I said, when I started doing this, I didn't know how to operate a reasonably professional camera. I didn't know how to edit video using Final Cut Pro. Yeah, well, most of the time. And I think that experience, that pushing yourself to grow and learn, right, has been fantastic. I've learnt loads, and I think that we are absolutely committed to making sure that the channel remains as something that is there as a resource for the homebrewing community. We've all sort of said this in various guises before, but yes, we're a retailer. You can come and buy your equipment from us. You can come and buy your ingredients from us, and we value every single order. First and foremost, we're homebrewers, and we are committed to being part of the homebrewing community and standing shoulder to shoulder with homebrewers, not just servicing them with products that they need. You have to back up all of that with customer service, but also like how to use things, how to get the best out of things, how to use new ingredients, things that are coming around, how to experiment, how to play around with stuff, how to just have fun within the hobby as well. There's, even if it's a video where we're talking about a new product, every new product we bring in, we wouldn't bring it in if we wouldn't use it ourselves, right? So we are keen to make sure that people understand how those things work. But the stuff for me that I enjoy the most is, and this isn't going to sound like a surprise to anybody, but the stuff I enjoy the most is where we get to go out and visit absolutely amazing breweries or home brewers.
That must be horrible stuff.
And go steal their secret sauce.
Like an awful part of the job.
How horrible must it be to just go to somewhere like, Verdant, and walk around and say, tell us how you do this? It must be horrible.
What was
if you give them...
If you had any, what's the latest secret sauce that you've had?
Oh my god!
That you've
this beer's getting fucking warm.
Yeah,
seriously.
Why don't we put a pin in that question for the second hand?
Right, let's do.
And we'll get back to the beer. I did want to just add just one point actually on the impact I think actually you've had, Stiffo, since you've joined the Malt Miller team and the content that you put out. And I appreciate it's a team effort, but obviously you're crucial to that, right? Is what comes across is it's not just about the information and the great content, but I love the spirit that you guys bring. Like there's a sense of genuine fun, and there's a sense of passion that comes through, and I think that's just innately human, and it doesn't feel like you guys just trying to sell products. It feels like there's something more about community, and I think that's what makes it magic.
We try to be authentic. We don't script. We might have talking points, but we don't script.
Yeah,
you know,
It's a bit like this pod.
same here.
yeah.
we
And
know.
that means sometimes
it's natural.
That means sometimes it'll take us 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 takes to get it over the line, but. That's great. The cutting room floor is always full of fun outtakes.
We don't have that benefit, Stiffo.
Yeah, we don't have that, Stiffo. So what we have is sometimes podcasts take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to get through. You know, it's one of them things. I want to drag this back to this beer because there's not a lot left. Stiffo, I absolutely adore your journey. I think it's wonderful. I genuinely do. I think it's brilliant. I think the way that. And I'm going to get a bit soppy right now, but for those of you who know me, you know I love my kids, right? My kids are literally my world.
Really?
Right? If it came down to it, I would use my wife as a human shield to save my kids, right? That's how much I love my kids. And I love my wife a lot. But, mate, if you're not a dad, then what are you? It's as simple as that. You got to be a good dad. You got to be a good dad. You got to be a good dad.
No,
if you've got kids, you got to be a good dad. And the fact that he still finds time to wind Reiki up and give him shit, I love that. I think that's absolutely brilliant because I love Reiki to bits. He is one of my favourite humans on earth. Some of the conversations I've had with Reiki have just been amazing. However, the fact that Stiffo finds the time to wind him up is just superb as far as I'm concerned. Now,
he gives as good as he gets.
Oh, I have absolutely no doubt on that one whatsoever.
Banter team.
This beer has surprised me again.
It's
okay because this isn't your usual favourite thing, is it, Chris? West Coast.
It's quite literally my worst favourite.
It's got. Do you know? It's for me. It's got what I get from a Citra Mosaic beer. It's got that sort of weird. There's this twangy sort of bitterness sort of thing on the high end, sort of, and I always get that with Citra Mosaic beer. And everyone goes, "Oh, that's the golden thing," but it's got that twangy thing, and then the Columbus is bringing the dankness, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could definitely, if I was to drink this and go, "What's in it?" I would pick out like Columbus. Citra Mosaic would be because I'm getting that Citra Mosaic thing. And then the Simcoe's maybe like... Simcoe for me is normally a tangerine you can pick it up as, or a sort of... But, there it is.
Stefo, talk to us about the recipe. Go on. Yes.
Right, so some of the beers we're enjoying tonight are part of like recipe development that I'm trying to do at home. So I've got core recipes that I'm building, and this is my second attempt at a West Coast. The first one was more like a mountain IPA and was just didn't. It was great, but it wasn't a West Coast for some reason. It didn't clear, and anyway, this time I'm far more pleased with it. So the grain bill is 44% Pilsner malt, 44% Munich 1. And then 6% Carapils and 6% wheat malt.
That's a lot of Munich, actually.
Yeah, but Munich 1.
Taste it. It's lovely.
The colour's kind of like definitely slightly
orange.
darker, isn't it? But it's definitely got old school Westy
vibes.
But I wouldn't have because you're not using crystal. It doesn't have any like cloying sweetness. Yeah. There is bready, malty sweetness underneath the bitterness, but it's not. It's kind
of like that Marisota thing, but different sort of in a sense. Yeah, with the breadiness.
It's around 40 IBUs as well, so it's got plenty of bite.
Can I describe this in a single sentence for you all?
Oh, sticky. Orange.
Well, that's better than a single word. So
this is weedy Fruit Loops. I adore this. I love this. This is probably my favourite West Coast I've ever drunk. This is literally weedy Fruit Loops, and I adore it. I'm getting so much fruit coming through, and then there's like weed, fruit,
weed, but it
cuts off. It just cuts off. No, drink it and tell me that it doesn't go fruity, 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 fruity. Cut off, because it does. It's a fucking hard stop when you drink it. I love this. I could do damage to this.
Yeah, when that bitterness kicks in and just like cleans
you know
it
what
up.
you're gonna do,
Stiffo?
You're gonna send me the recipe for this one, mate. Because I'm gonna make some.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a slight change.
5%.
Just ever so slight change. I would put into your grain bill. I would drop that Munich down by probably 3 or 4%, and I would put some Crystal 80 in it.
No, would you?
I would.
Hey, that's what homebrew is about. You do you, right?
Exactly. But
It's
just that touch of Crystal, I think, is going to lend a slight, almost cherry kind of blackcurranty hint, which is going to elevate all of that wonderful fruit that you're getting from the rest of those hops. That's my opinion.
I mean,
So
it's well brewed, Stiffo. Like, I could smell the hops off it just as I was pouring it from like 2 feet from my face. So, like,
Jesus, Owen, you've got long arms.
It's really good.
So a couple of interesting things I did with this. So it's Columbus throughout the boil, and then Simcoe and Columbus, 25 grams of each, and a 23-litre batch in at the whirlpool. Whirlpooled at 90C for 30 minutes. And then the dry hop, which was all done post-fermentation, soft crashed, yeast dropped off. And then it's 50 grams Amarillo, Eldorado, Mosaic, and Citra. So it's a bit of a fruit salad. Yeah. But the thing for me that I've really enjoyed in West Coast recently, and it was actually when we were up at Lance's because he gave us an IPA that absolutely blew my mind, is Eldorado. Eldorado in the West Coast is just, I can't put my finger on what the flavour is, but there's something that I feel it brings, and I think it does lend itself to that sort of weedy dankness when it's backed up with some bigger hitters like Columbus and Simcoe and Amarillo and Mosaic. The other thing I'd say as well is this: the water profile on this. I'd have to bring up my brew and water spreadsheet, but it is heavily weighted to be
sulfate.
Yeah, crispy and bitter.
This is a banger.
Well, I like
such a good beer.
Whilst it's bitter, the bitterness is really nicely balanced. I don't actually think it's like it's a really high quality bitterness. It's not like a sharp bitterness. Nice smooth bitterness.
You get that sweetness.
68.
Yeah, it's well balanced.
It was mashed at 68, so I think it finished at about 10, 11, maybe 10. It wasn't 10, 12, definitely. I'm awful for not writing things down, but yeah, it's just got enough sweetness to balance out the bitterness. It feels kind of well balanced, well put together.
Oh, it is lovely. It absolutely is. And the one thing I'll say to you, Stiffo, is this: kudos, man, for using 44% Munich in this. Because that's huevos grande, son. That's a big shout. Is that? But my God, it works. It works.
Yeah, you see, my last West Coast I used dark Munich.
Yeah.
So I think it was just pale malt and dark Munich. And and that was leaning more into that old school Westy vibe. So you kind of very much getting like amped what you've done, but without crystal malt.
Yeah,
and I think that actually works really well. It depends whether you 10%. Prefer old school Westies versus new school Westies, and I'm probably more old school Westie.
Oh, and I went.
I'm in the middle.
Munich.
I'm in the middle.
One is my last one. Is like, and I was like, oh, that's big. 10% Munich one. Oof. But like
44.
44.
Do you know something, Stiffo? I'm going to say this, right? That needs to go up on a Malt Miller as a recipe kit.
It's good.
Well, literally, it was only kegged, a week ago.
So you've had 7 days and you've not put it up as a recipe kit yet, is what you're telling me?
I've been a bit busy with a few other things,
Hold on, this is a week old.
Don't tell me you got to work and work.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, this is a week old.
And it's
Rob,
it's
you need to give him an hour. He needs to put this up as a recipe kit. That is an absolute banger.
That's clear, as well. That's the thing.
Power of brown salt.
BRY 97 brown salt.
Yeah, Brian 97 on the yeast. Yeah, I've used again. I've been playing around with different yeasts. I've used different Chico strains. I've used thermotolerant, high voltage. I've used in West Coasts before, and it works well. But I think for me, you can't really beat a proper Chico strain for this kind of beer style.
Is it was it the fermented USO5 or Bry?
Bry.
Yeah, of the two, Bry.
Is it?
Yeah, because you can get it that bright, whereas I've struggled with 05 in the past getting it bright.
No, but it takes a while, but it will drop. USO 5 will drop. It does just take time.
I used Lax on my last brew. I made a black IPA, and it crapped out on me. It stalled and stopped at 10:15. It should have finished at 10:10, I think.
Right.
That was down to the yeast, right? Nothing to do with mash temperatures or.
No, I don't think so, Matt. I think I mashed it at 67. Target FG was 10:10.
You're a brutal,
I don't know what happened. It just slowed down, which is really odd. And I pitched 2 packs. But,
and did it? Oh, and did it? Was it okay to drink? Or did
it's fine. It? Yeah, I literally kegged it earlier today. And I gave it a little taste. The only problem is it only finished at like 4%, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But
yeah,
you know when we do these episodes where we sit down and we talk to people about their beers, the biggest compliment you can ever give to somebody is, "I'm really disappointed you only sent me 1 bottle of that." I'm sitting here and I'm pissed off, Stiffo. I'll be honest with you. Hey, so only get 1 bottle of that.
Like you said, it's like juicy fruits, but like dankness.
It just cuts off. Mate. It's like you drink it and it's juicy. Nope.
No.
Drink again. It's gorgeous.
Go back in.
Gorgeous.
But that's you're not a massive fan of West Coast styles, Chris. So that's like, for me, that's a massive compliment. So thank you.
But then Chris says he's not a fan of anything, and then he loves it.
If you put a beer in front of me that's too bitter, you'll know about it.
You would, yeah.
That's really well balanced.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Brave with 44% Munich. But my God, does that work?
It's definitely an IPA though, isn't it? Because it's
definitely an IPA.
Yeah, because
it's a pale. It's like 4.5%.
No, it's 5.
That's funny. It says 5 on a bottle. Are you lying to us?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe it is 5. Yeah.
But then
that's
you're right.
Great beer.
I thought an IPA was maybe about 5.4 starting.
5.5.
Yeah. For me, that's a pale.
But then, what's the difference between a pale and IPA? I just feel like an IPA is like that. It's that sort of mega bitterness thing. And these days, I think a pale's more like that light, juicy sort of. And you can go higher ABV with a pale, as long as it's that sort of hazy.
Well, the next beer is going to be an interesting one for us to discuss then.
I have, before we jump to that, Di over in Georgia has asked, just kind of question around, do you tend to use Flex? Because I know you're a big fan of using Flex, Stiffo. I've heard you use it before. You inspired me to buy some, actually. I just need to figure out how to use it. You didn't, in this case, use Flex?
No, I used Columbus all the way through. And actually... you mentioned elusive in that comment. Actually, Andy, I can't remember what it was. It might have been last year when we were doing the competition with them. Andy said something to me about Columbus and using Columbus throughout for bittering. And I can't remember what beer it was now. It evades me, but we were trying a beer that had used Columbus. Might have even been one of his, and it was gorgeous. And so, you know what? Actually, I love Flex. Flex is great for dialing stuff in. But again, if you're going to play around with things, you find something that you like commercially and have a go at it.
Flex sounds great. See, as a commercial brewery, Flex sounds great. See, for us, is it? Do we need it? It's probably a bit overkill, to be honest.
Yeah, it is probably a smidge
we don't
overkill.
And it's like, Flex will give you more pints out of your fermenter, which is like amazing. For us, I don't need more pints. I just need a keg. Like, just if I've got a keg and it's giving me beer, I'm happy.
I've fairly consistently used Columbus for bittering. To come outside like a lager or whatever, like I'll tend to use anything hoppy. I'll tend to use Columbus.
It's old school. It's spiky. It's like
good.
It's piney. You get some carryover, I think, from adding it during the boil.
I think so.
What is that?
That's your pale.
Oh, mate, no.
Oh,
Here we go.
It's not
What's
the
going
house pale,
here?
is it?
This is what I was worried about.
The hazy pale. To be fair, it might just be the camera.
Oh, I don't know,
It's
mate.
definitely not the camera. They are cooked.
Oh, that's such a shame. I was really looking forward to trying that.
Stiffo, it's your choice. It's your choice. Do we skip this and go to a commercial?
No.
That is absolutely burnt, isn't it?
Owen,
Come on, let's
get
see
yours
if it's...
open.
Fingers crossed.
Stiffo, go and get a glass off your kegerator, mate.
Chris,
Go
drink
and get a
that.
glass off your kegerator.
Go drink that, Chris.
That's a bit brown.
It smells alright though.
Do you know? But it tastes alright.
Yeah, mine's pretty brown as well. It'll be interesting just to see the colour difference with what
Getting a shitload of
Stiffo gets off the
coconut on
kegerator.
that.
That actually doesn't taste bad. That tastes really fucking good.
He's going to come back with a beautiful golden pint of just like perfect orange haziness, isn't
it's
he?
going to be funny. It's amazing how set up, like highly sensitive.
That's
really
mad,
hard.
They are
hops.
so sensitive.
They are.
Show us. Look at this.
Look at the
Oh,
difference in that.
mate.
Yeah.
Packaging error.
Yeah, I think probably heat hasn't helped. I don't know whether I've... Yeah. Anyway.
That's a nightmare for you,
well,
mate.
we're seeing right. So your packaging
Still
method.
tastes alright.
It tastes really good.
It does actually taste good.
You're just being
Tastes really
kind.
good.
No,
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 no.
not. It
No,
tastes
because
really good.
Normally,
No, I
see a beer that looks like this. I would be getting jam. I'd be getting real
Cardboard.
jammy. No, I get jammy sort of.
I think it's just on the turn. You know what I mean? Like I think flavour wise, like we've got it. It's just on the turn. Like if the podcast was next weekend, it would be fucked.
Screwed. Yeah.
But
It's not
tastes
terrible.
You're being
Stiffo.
generous.
No, we're really
generally
not.
not.
tell us about how the beer's supposed to taste.
This has got.
So this is like we have got the recipe for kit for this on the website. It shouldn't ever look like you guys have got there. There's definitely something gone awry, packaging.
Yeah.
But hey, you know these things happen. The recipe itself is one that I've brewed a number of times now, and it's based on some influences from the projects we did last year with Track and with Verdant. We have
What's on the thing? Oh wow.
the grist is very much influenced by the thing we did with Track. So it's extra pale, which is 66%. Then it's Fawcett's oat malt, which is like 30%.
Sorry, what was the base? I missed the 66%. What was that?
Crisp extra pale.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you've got like 5% chit malt in there.
Yeah.
So
Me and Nolan
just
played with chip.
yeah, and the OG was it. Whenever you put it into brewing software, it always thinks it's going to come in at like 1062, something like that. It doesn't, because the oat malt has the husks in it, which it just doesn't tend to.
I'll buy that from
account
you
for.
guys. You have to basically see your oat malt. Basically, whatever you put into Brewfather, just double it what you actually right, and then it'll be okay, because the oat malt weighs. Because of the husks, it weighs double what will actually extract out the thing. And if you double it, right? And so say, Brewfather, you say 1 kilo of oat malt, then put 2 kilos in your batch, sort of thing. And you'll be like on your numbers.
Don't you mean the other way? Halve it, because you're only getting half of the actual fermentables.
Well, it's like, if Brewfather says 1 kilo, I would put 2 in the actual.
Oh, yeah. So you'd actually use 2. Yeah.
Yeah, you double it up, yeah. Well,
because the husks give it the runoff and all that, but actually only getting half the amount of oats that Brewfather sees.
Yeah, what's the difference between using, which seems like I think is malted oats versus just flaked oats?
In terms of flavour, I think it's probably down to flavour more than anything because it's been through the malting process. I've never really done much in the way of side by sides. I've brewed this recipe with oats, with jumbo oats like 26s, the ones we sell, or the smaller ones, and it's great for me though. I I like a paled, hazy pale to actually not be quite as thick and heavy as an IPA. And I know that sounds that's kind of technically there's a difference there, but I think that I want a pale to be drinkable, and using oat malt, the malted oats, you're not adding so much in there that you're just getting that really thick, heavy, silky thing that you get with lots and lots of oats. And for me, I mash it at like 78. No, not 78, 72. 72 for this. So again, I play around with this. So between sort of 70 and 72, depending on which way the mood takes me on the day. But actually, the OG on this is quite low. So it comes in at about, this one came in, I think, at about 10, 12. Because Haze Heaven, which is the yeast I've used, which is actually attenuates really, really well. So it's meant that actually this has come in at 6%. So yes, it's a pale, and I think to your point earlier, Andy, like the definition between a pale and an IPA actually is more about presentation than necessarily ABV. This, I think, is an example of where the difference between presentation and experience versus ABV probably comes into account, because at 6%, you could definitely say this is an IPA. But it's easy drinking. And the wort chemistry, the wort profile I use for this is like a 2-to-1. I think it's 86 sulfates and about 200 chloride. So there's actually still a reasonable amount of sulfates in there. The calcium is reasonably high.
Are you using salt? Yeah.
And
like sodium chloride.
Yeah. And that just, for me, makes it drinkable. I know yours is less drinkable because it's brown, which I'm absolutely devastated about.
It's actually crazy. But it's actually crazy how drinkable it actually still is. Because see, when a beer turns up like this, I'm normally touching it, but this is actually still like, there's a tiny hint of that sort of cardboardy thing that Chris was talking about, but I'm still getting that sort of lime note. I'm still getting that sort of is there a kind of,
there's coconut. I get coconut off of the foam, and I get tropical fruits running through it, but I hate to be the one. I did not want to slag off your beers. I really didn't. But everything is just really muted. Everything is just
it's
kind
oxidized.
Everything is just kind of. I'm seriously disappointed because I wanted to try a beer with crush in it, and I wanted the Motueka in it, and I wanted
what's crush normally? Is it strawberry?
Hey, don't make the man feel guilty. Shit happens.
I'm not. I really don't want to, because
a live product and it does weird things.
Absolutely, it really, really does. And Brooksy, fair play to him, has just put in. He's gone. No, wrong one. He says his version of that beer looks stunning, and I'll be honest with you, I am so gutted for you, because I know that you're proud of this beer.
Yeah,
and I know it's a beer that you've developed.
I'm surprised it still tastes good oxidized.
Yeah, credit to you there. Yeah, even oxidized, it tastes great.
Yeah, it tastes banging oxidized.
I'll drink half of it.
I'm like I'm already halfway through, and it's still
still very drinkable.
It is drinkable.
It's a good question, actually. What crush? What do you get? Is crush like
sort of mango fruit punch? That's the kind of thing with it.
Mango.
I'm gutted for you, Stiffo. I really am.
I've tried Lupamax. So I've had West Coast styles using crush and East Coast styles, and I think it works well in both. So you do get it pairs really well with Citra, and you do get sort of tropical notes from it, which paired into a West Coast with some of the more sort of, dank resinous things can work really, really well. In fact, for International Women's Day this year, Joe went and brewed a beer with Hand Brew Co. And that was a big, like 8.5% West Coast double IPA. And that had crush in it. And it was absolutely stunning. And we rebrewed, we did a homebrew version of it because we got the recipe kit for that as well. And that was great fun and it tasted delicious.
I've never used crush, actually, to be fair.
I cannot express to you just how gutted I am for you, Stiffo.
Hey, these things have happened. It's not like, it could be.
No one's
the interesting thing is, right, so from a packaging perspective, the other two beers we've tried tonight have been okay, right? There's not been any oxidization with them.
But they're not oxidized type beers. They would take a bit of oxygen and still hold up.
They haven't got 30%.
Be interesting to see what the next one. Be interesting to see what the next one shows up like.
Because you used what was it you used to package it? It was like the cannula type thing, or was it the? No, it wasn't a cannula, was it? It was the.
It is. Yeah, it's the Kegland cannula bottle and can filler, which
it's open. So it's purging. So basically, the idea is that's got two prongs that purge. It takes the oxygen out and then it fills, basically, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'd set it up so it had quite a long purge time. Obviously, used decent crown caps.
You've got glass bottles as well, because we found on our testing, and I found is the plastic bottles will, and if you don't use the right oxygen caps as well, because you can get ones without, and then they just oxidize. It's mad. It's actually mad how hard it is.
I think the one thing that that may have cost me here was after capping the bottles, I probably should have given myself another day before I shipped them. So just leave them standing for at least 24, if not 48 hours, so that the oxygen scavenging film in the cap can do its job. So even if you've just got the tiniest amount in there.
Honestly, I've got that feeling in my stomach where I'm just absolutely gutted for you, mate. I really am.
Worst things have happened.
This has happened to me.
At the end of the day,
this happens to me all the time.
Yeah, but it's one of them things. It's like when you're on your barbecue and you're making something, if it's not quite the way that you want it to be, there's always that feeling of disappointment at the end.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, damn, these ribs aren't quite what they could be. Or these chicken wings aren't quite what it could be. Do you know, you feel, it's like, even when I'm grilling sweet corn, or something as simple as grilling sweet corn, if the char isn't right, I'm like, I don't want to give that to the family. You know, I understand perfectly exactly where you're coming from. The flavour's phenomenal. It's really, really good, but it's not what it could be, and that's why I'm gutted.
I did this for my mate Dell, right? So I'll brew a big Napa, right? And then I'll take it to Dell's house, and then the boys will, like 4 days, will all just tan a keg of Napa or whatever, get absolutely. But what happens, what you do is you tend to do, what I do before anyway, was you would get a keg, you would keg it into that, and then you would let it settle, and then all the yeast would go at the bottom. And then what I would do is then to transport it to the next house, then put it into a fresh keg. Now the fresh keg, I would just fill it with CO2, purge the hell out of it, and then it goes, right? But see now,
fill it with Starsan.
Fill it with Starsan. Like, make sure you just push all that Starsan out with CO2, and then that sucker is proper cleared to then fill up. Because when you don't, with beers like this and a Napa especially, right, it just goes brown. So like I was like, I'll do it like a day or two before, make sure I'm ahead. I turned up to Dell's and I'm pouring stuff. I was pouring the exact same as this, and I'm gutted. And all the boys are like, Andy, this is amazing. This is amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I can taste the jam in this. This is not the beer I made sort of thing.
I am.
So
I swear, I'm so good.
That's the scourge of this style, isn't it? In terms of for home
it
brewers,
is,
and especially competition
exactly.
as well. Yeah, like how many people have? I'm sure we've all sent this beer style to competitions and had the feedback.
We did a competition like this. We did a comp. We're like this with Unity, and oh my god.
Like
and,
9 of the beers, it was like 9.
I don't think a single one of them wasn't.
No, there
oxidized.
there was 9 of them. I think that made it to the final, right? That wasn't oxidized. Basically, the pass rate was, if it turned up not oxidized, it went into the final.
Even those 9 were in
Tropicana bottle. But the Tropicana bottle was oxidized as well. So
it was. I can't.
Anyway.
I can't.
The trick is, I'm going to show off a new addition to the brewery.
Look at that man!
This was a birthday present from.
Is that a Bombardier glass?
My dad's
see, if you poured my beer into that, you wouldn't have known.
Exactly the point I was about to make. Right, just pour it into a into an opaque glass. You'll never know the difference, right? But anyway,
that's what it should look like.
Yeah, that looks great. That looks great. Talk us through a bit of the development of the recipe, Stiffo, because I know that. What version is this? Do you reckon, off the top of your head?
Oh, right. So the one that you are drinking is version
6.
Where are we? Yeah, version 6.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, it's playing around with the big thing for me has been playing around with yeast and hop combinations. I settled probably after about version 3 on the Citra Mosaic and the Citra, the Crush, and the Motueka combination.
Yeah.
The 3 of them for me work really well together. This one, however, has also got Galaxy in, which is a bit of an addition to the recipe that's on the website. So I had 50 grams of Galaxy in the Whirlpool and then another 50 grams added into the dry hop as well. I just wanted to see how that would show up with those other hops, because Galaxy is a big thing, right? But the real thing that I've been trying to play around with has been the yeast selection. So I've used Verdant on these. I've used Saturated. I've used Pineapple Passion. I've used Amona. But the one that just has captivated me recently, and I've used it on not just this recipe but others that we've done, is Haze Heaven from WHC. It's quite high attenuation, and it will chomp through your sugars and get you down quite low if you're not careful with it. But if you know that, you can compensate for it with your mash temperatures. But what it leaves in the glass is just, for me, thick. It's opaque. There ain't any way that that's going to drop clear, but it's not thick because of oats and adjuncts and that, like I've said earlier, that oiliness that you can get, that slickness, that thick, really syrupy almost. But the haze ain't going anywhere. And it's also got quite a lot of tropical fruit notes for me. If you smell it whilst it's fermenting, it changes as well. It starts off as like lychee and then moves to mango and then passion fruit. And that all of those things are going to stay within the beer and that you're going to get little notes of them throughout. I've absolutely fallen in love with that yeast.
Have you tried Pineapple Passion yet?
Yeah, so I tried Pineapple Passion in a version of this, and I wasn't hugely a fan of it in this beer. I've tried other beers with it and I've enjoyed it, but in this beer it didn't do it for me. The only other one that I really felt
saturated.
No, so Saturated, I love it, right? And actually I love it more probably in English cask style beers than I do in hazy beers. Yeah. But it's great. Saturated's great, but the thing for me was I wanted things that were going to bring something other than kind of what you'd expect, right? You expect haze and you expect maybe a little bit of fruitiness.
Yeah.
What I wanted was just a little bit more. The one that really, other than Haze Heaven, the one that really I did enjoy was Pomona, and that was partly because how quickly it ripped through. Yeah, because it's the Lallemand Escarpment collab, isn't it?
Yeah. That's right.
And that ripped through fermentation and brought quite a lot of interesting tropical fruit notes as well. But
I'm trying to think. Owen, what did we do with that Pomona? We did a Pomona, didn't we?
Yeah, I've used it. And I really like it, actually. I knew you were going to say Pomona. But Haze Heaven, it's a lively yeast.
Have you used it, Owen?
I've used it a few times, yeah, and it literally wants to crawl out of your fermenter every single time.
So it's basically like saturated and fermented.
It's added an hour. It's robbed me of an hour because I have to go and clean my firm fridge because it just like pukes everywhere.
The blow off.
Yeah, well, I don't have a blow off. I've only got spondy, but I need to add a blow off. Yeah, but it's a great yeast. I really like it.
Absolutely, is it?
I'm just gutted that you guys have ended up with browned pond water, but
well,
shocking.
You know what they say? Better. There's no point crying about spilt milk, mate.
No point crying about oxidized beer.
Still drinking it though.
Yeah, I'm still drinking it. Yeah, but I'm interested to see what the next 8% beer is going to be like.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I don't have a bottle of that here because I forgot to bottle myself one. So I'm going to go for something that's a lower ABV while you enjoy that.
Right, cheers, mate.
Cheers.
We'll see. Should we crack onto that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I'm just going to have a little pit stop, okay?
A little pit stop, yeah. No.
Cool, we get to talk about him while he's not here.
I'll be back in a moment, and I'll be able to hear you.
Yeah, make sure you mute yourself before you take a piss.
He's gone, he's muted himself, we're all good. Right, I was indisposed for a moment there. Did I miss anything important?
We talked about Haze Heaven.
Oh, okay. Great yeast.
We talked about the development of Stiffos. House Pale Ale.
I need a decent glass here.
Which I thought was pretty interesting. And I think what I like about Stiffo's approach is the fact that he is trying to really nail down some specific beer styles like the West Coast Pale and the Hazy Pale. And no doubt he's got a couple of others as well.
He's nailed that West Coast.
The lager, right?
Nailed that West Coast for me, man. That is an absolute stunner.
Certainly with the approach to hops, I'd say is bang on. And the yeast
bottle here with no label on it.
I think that's the fifth beer.
Okay.
To drink. So
now we get an 8.5% dipper.
We've got an 8.5%.
Yeah.
I see no way this is going to end badly.
Beer. So it would be interesting to see what colour this is.
Yeah. Do you know my plan tonight was like I went and brought all these tiny, like, you know, the little glasses, the little taster glasses, right? I was like,
let's just going to work, Andy.
Let's just get all these. I've got hundreds of them here, right? I've got hundreds of them, and then I was like, I start drinking Stiffo beers, and I'm like, pint glasses. I'm having the full bottle here. And so that's why I've had to dive into the house, because there's no way I want to drink out of tiny little glasses. I'm like, I'm going to get big glasses. So I've got one of Danny's. I think it was at the small batch when Danny came on. So I've grabbed a Danny glass.
So, we'll wait for
is it brown?
We'll wait for Stiffo to come back, but yes, it is also quite brown.
Oh, no, go away.
But nonetheless, we will try it, and we will talk about it.
We
will enjoy ourselves.
Is it?
I'm eating peanuts now. I feel like I need it.
Dude, mine isn't brown. Mine isn't brown.
No?
No. Mine is pure juice. Holy shit.
I like the fact that you've both gone for the full pour.
Oh, I did. Mine's pure orange. Is yours orange juice?
Trying to tell me that's not brown?
It's not, no. It's like
that's brown.
Oh. Mine isn't brown. Mine's just mine's is orange juice, 8.5% dipper juice colour.
Right, let's have a look, because this is darker. It is darker than the other one.
Mine's is pure orange. It's not brown.
Let's have a look at yours, Owen. Yeah, maybe a touch darker, but it is darker than...
Look at Chris's.
But it's in a big glass, so this does come out darker. Anyway, so good. this is interesting.
Orange.
Tell us about it, Stiffo.
Well, before I do that, so I'm going to just shout out what I am pouring to go along with this.
Harmon's.
He's got a Brett beer. Nice. How about
He's got a raspberry mix. That's a base, that beer.
Yeah, it's great. Oh. So this beer is one of our fresh wort kits. So it is the base 4, which is the Hazy base. And it's well pulled with Eclipse and Galaxy. And then it's the one that we did for the video that we put out about how to use the fresh wort kit. So I then dry hopped it with Nelson and Citra and Mosaic. And I also used Haze Heaven on it. So, and it is a big old boy. And it's actually got a lot of IBUs. So that fresh wort kit has... when it's diluted down to this volume, which was like 20 odd litres, I think it's still got like 60 IBUs, which is...
I taste that.
Yeah, but I like that. I really enjoy that.
That's
that balance between the strength, and it's also because there's maltodextrin in the wort. It still retains a lot of body, so you need the IBUs to balance it out.
Right. And tell me a bit about the fresh wort kits. So, what's the difference between fresh wort and liquid malt extract?
Well, it's not a concentrate, right? So it's exactly the same that you would produce at home if you were mashing your grains. The only difference with the fresh wort kits that are in our range at the moment is that they're brewed slightly bigger. So that gives you options to dilute them down to starting gravities that you want, and then ultimately finishing gravities that you want, so that you've got flexibility. So this one, the starting gravity on this, when it's at its 15 litre format that we ship it in, it's like, I don't know, nearly 1.100, something like that, 1095. I can't remember the exact number, but it is big. But that gives you the option to do a dipper, to do an IPA, or if you dilute it even further, you can take it down to sort of a stronger pale.
So you take this wort, right, the 15 batch number 4, whatever it is, right, and then you dilate that to 21 litre or a 19. That gives you what's the starting, 1078 or something like that, or...
I can't remember what the starting gravity on this was, but I can tell you because it's all available on themaltmiller.co.uk.
So it's a big grav. It's like you now do this fresh wort kit that it's basically 15 litres, and it's like you say it's like 1.1. Right?
That one is So we've got 6 altogether, 6 different bases, and they all are targeted kind of towards either specific beer styles or versatile worts that you can use different yeast and hop combinations to end up with different beer styles, so there are a couple in there that you could throw lager yeasts at and end up with a lager, but equally you could throw an ale yeast at and it will turn out as a pale ale. It depends how you choose the complementary ingredients that go along with it. And the thing about the fresh wort kits is that they're really versatile, because if you're a beer kit brewer, if you're a malt extract brewer, but you want to experience what all grain could taste like, they're a great option, right? Because
a fresh wort kit is like, right, Mr. Brewery, you brew me my base wort, and so you contract it out to someone, and they basically give you the wort, and then you put that into your big 15 litre boxes, right? And then it's like up to the home brewer to just go, right, I need something. I don't have time. I've got 2 kids that are like 1 and 2. Hey, or I've got twins that are like super young, and you just toss that into your Firmzilla, and then you put in your whirlpool stuff and your dry hops, and away you go.
Well,
sort of thing. You'll have a video on this, but it's already
they've been whirlpooled at the brewery, and all the details for like the whirlpool editions and stuff are on the product pages.
Hop. So you're just yeast and dry hop.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's really interesting. And what's kind of nice is like you're not necessarily getting that same twang that you might typically get with a liquid extracts kit that you're not always sure how long that's been sounded.
Yeah, and the brewery's done water chemistry. They've done absolutely everything that you would expect a professional brewery to do.
So it's just up here to ferment it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're an all grain brewer, but you're short on time, or it's this time of year we're in a heat wave, and maybe you've got a hosepipe ban, or you're busy doing barbecuing for your friends, and you're in kind of that's it. Yeah. It gives you
literally the biggest one is like my mates that have got kids, like super young kids. It's like go buy that.
That's massive.
It's Chris. That's you. Like half the time, that's you.
Yeah. 3/4 of the time, that's me, Andy. But
yeah.
90%.
Yeah.
We've made. I think we've got. I can't remember how many recipes now we've got available on the site. I've literally got the page open in front of me, but we've got. We've got 15 different recipes now that come from 6 bases. And they'll all be slightly different. They'll all have a little bit of intrigue and a little bit of, difference to them based on the hops and the yeast we've added.
How's it going? How's it been the pickup? Is it been good?
Really good. Really good.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Right. Okay.
And we're really fortunate that actually we've been partnering with this project. We've been partnering with the guys over at Allbriggen in Norway. Because they've been doing fresh work kits for a very long time, and we know that market, that fresh work kit market for them hasn't made like dents in all grain brewing or extract kit brewing, because it's something different. It's complementary.
It's just guys, but that's just guys that would not do the all grain, but they've now got time to put it in a bucket and just do that. They've got time for that, but they just do not have time for the Saturday morning write-off sort of thing that we've deal with.
We've talked about it earlier. We've all got families, or we've got commitments and other things, and especially this time of year where it is kind of you're spending more and more time doing things with people you care about at the weekends, but you still want to give them some beer, right? And you don't want to compromise your experience. So
and you give us, and it's like, and if you like 8.5% dippers.
yeah. In this case, wow. I mean, it's a big beer, right? And actually, the aroma that I get on the nose is like pure breakfast juice. Like it's just grapefruit, tropical orange, fresh orange juice. It's like really nice aroma on the nose, and it is a big beer. When you taste it, it's very thick. Coats the tongue.
It's got that oaty sort of juicy thing that goes on with a big Nipah.
One thing that this it's been really encouraging for us, this project, because Rob's been a big advocate for fresh work kits, and we've dabbled in it previously, but we're really going for it this time, and trying to make sure that we're offering a range of bases that can kind of go on to become lots of different beers. The other thing we are looking at as options down the line are kind of like packaging formats, so whether we can do different packaging formats. So we know that there's you guys may have seen, you may not have, but you may have seen the stuff we've done with using pinters, and doing all grain brews and then fermenting them in a pinter, basically
there's a market, there's a whole load of people, like friends. I know guys that I've worked with, right? They've got pinters. So, and like, I think you struck a chord there. It's like, maybe they weren't quite happy with the pinter or something didn't quite go right. And then it's like, oh, I can buy something from the Malt Miller. I can put in my pinter, ferment it, goes in the fridge, and oh my God, it tastes so good. Yeah. And I feel like a brewer. I get my friends round, try my beer, this is my beer, and then they get into the homebrewing bug as well. And then maybe a year or two down the line, they've got a craft beer brewery in their garage, and they're deep in the stainless,
They're having to get you round to look at the wiring options, right, Andy?
They're like, how do I get a 32 amp breaker into my garage, Andy?
But we've been thrilled with them, and actually, again, Rob's 21st birthday party that we went to a few weeks back. Rob had a couple of beers on that had been made using these fresh wort kits that he'd fermented under pressure, and they were great. They're crowd pleasing beers.
It's literally you're giving people. It isn't extract. It is all grain brewing.
Yeah,
it's just someone else has done the work. You pay a bit extra for that, and we put it in, and you do the rest of the work, and then you tailor that to what you want. If you want, your dry hops and all that sort of thing, you tailor that.
I think it's the perfect gateway drug for kit brewers to move into all grain.
Yeah,
that's what it is, right?
Busy dads.
It's like
literally busy
for anyone
dads.
that's curious, that's been a kit brewer, and they go, I wonder what this all grain's like. They can get that experience, right?
Yeah,
and then they're not going to look back. They're going to go, oh yeah, nice.
I see this as a market for Raymond and Dell who can't be bothered. That just want beer, right? And they've got 2 kids or whatever, and they want to just put it into their existing equipment, and all the work's done. That whole head mess of like milling grain or what do I need to do, it's like, right, boom, boom, and it goes. Ferment. I know what I'm doing here. Into the keg. There we go. We're serving.
Yeah, I think you're right. Busy dads.
So I'd be interested to get a few thoughts from you on the actual actual beer then. Yeah.
It's thick. It's beast.
Yeah, it's thick. I think the bitterness is like
it's halfway down.
I think the bitterness balances off the sweetness that would invariably be in the beer. So it's it has got a bitterness to it, but I think that bitterness presents more in a way that is like real grapefruit, like a really grapefruit vibe. It's got a really orange juice vibe. It's actually really nice.
Oaty grapefruit.
It's definitely thick. It's definitely silky. It's a big beer. I'm probably not going to drink all of it. No offense.
It's a massive beer.
Yeah,
it's oaty grapefruit orange. Yeah.
It drinks like a massive beer.
If you bring that to the boys, if you bring that to your boys' birthday party, like one of your mates' birthday
you wouldn't want to take
parties,
that milkshake to the yard, right?
Right, well,
I don't
do you
know
know what?
I've got some friends who would crush a keg of this.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like
it'd be a messy
you've got 4 or 5 boys.
But as long as they leave, that's all good.
They're going to be melted in the couch, and that do you know? Genuinely, the only time I'll ever make a beer like this is for those occasions where I've got the boys. There's 4 or 5 of us, and we're going to do about 5 pints each, and we'll be. That is it. Game over. And we enjoy that type of beer. No,
the only time I would ever do a beer like this.
I don't want to do that.
The only time I would ever do a beer like this is if it's a bunch of lads who I know are going to leave at 10:30. Because I'm just not dealing with the aftermath of drinking half or 3/4 of a keg of this.
Or your father-in-law.
You need the boys. You need the boys.
Mate, the father-in-law would smash a keg of this in about a day. I find this like
it's not for me, but I'll do it for parties, and that's when I like to brew a beer like this for parties. This is what I specifically brew this beer for parties.
This is a beer where I would do a pint. And it would be at the end of the night as the burgers were just finishing on the barbecue. You've already had the ribs. You've thrown the extra burgers on. You know, this is a night ender, is what this is.
Oh yeah, you've got to have a finisher, right? It's like
John
ordering.
John Cena had this. I've got this.
I love
That's what it is.
I love how Chris always sort of brings everything back to a sort of very visualized, visceral barbecue analogy.
Because that's his life.
It's always centered around
it's like barbecue is life.
I'm not being funny. Owen, I'm a
barbecue
fat
is
bastard.
life.
I'm a fat bastard. It's all about food.
Yeah,
I don't think I slipped
food
this
and
in.
drink, hard to separate.
I don't think I got this in properly earlier, but you need to keep an eye on our website over the course of the next couple of weeks because there is some more in the whole kind of outdoor cooking, barbecuing world that is going to be landing.
Wait, hold on. We're all just waiting for the Jaipur recipe. Stiffo. Everyone, we're all just like sitting there going, when are they going to give us a Jaipur?
Oh, and then I'm doing some more teasing about some other things. Yeah,
for sure. I think.
When can I get Jaipur and cask in the house? That's what I want to know.
Oh, we'll get to that.
When can I get the kit for the Jaipur?
Hang on a second. Hang on. Right. So the extra burgers are the ones that you cook when the coals are on the way down and they take slightly longer. But they're the extra burgers for when you've had beers like this and you go, I need an extra burger. And the chicken wings are all gone. The ribs are all gone. I mean, we went to Wild Child for their birthday and like all the lads came to mine. And it was a case of we went out and we got pretty freaking drunk, right, drinking that, and we came back to mine, and it was just like, do you know what? Let's get something extra cooking. And in our case, we just ordered from Roshan's. We had incredible pizza.
Oh, pizzas.
But it was just one of them things. It's like, you know, we need to.
You did.
You need the extra burgers. You need the overcooking.
It's to absorb the additional alcohol, isn't it?
That's what it is. The brioche buns don't quite cut it. You need the extra burgers.
No, I'm with you.
Protein.
I think on general reflection of this beer, having never tried a fresh work kit beer before,
it's excellent.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Look at the head. There's still like a pure creamy head on this.
Yeah. It's
it's real beer. It's not. But that's the thing, right? What you would say is, if I was to sell it to someone, it's real beer. It's not like that powdery stuff that you put in your pint or whatever, or it's not DME or it's not, and it's not got that. But you were talking about the homebrew twang or anything like that. It's literally, if you don't have time. And I know so many people that do not have time, and you still want to feel like a home brewer, then just go get a fresh wort kit and go speak with the Malt Miller. It's like, go get a curated recipe, and if you want a keg on tap, you don't have an Andy that can do a double batch and just chuck you a second, another
You act like the only one who can do double batches, Andy.
Aye, if you don't have an Andy, right, and you've done home brewing, you've got a kegerator and all that, just go get a blind.
Have you noticed how this slips in? It's always you don't have an Andy. Owen can do double batches. I can do double batches.
I've got.
But it's all about you don't have an Andy.
I've got a brother, right? My brother's got a kegerator set up.
We've all got a brother.
His house, Raymond, who was a home brewer, doesn't have time because he's got 2 young kids. He's got a kegerator set up. So they just put in a little request, going to sort me out with a keg, and I literally, my double brew, I just do a double brew day. It's just like, well, we'll do 8 litres instead of, we'll do the big batch instead of.
You're a saint, Andy. You're a saint.
Yeah, I've got pals,
Saint
and I just
Andy of home
and then we put it into the uni tank, Put it into the
Yeah.
big Guinness tank.
Keep talking, Andy.
Double
Keep
back.
talking. Keep talking.
Good for you. Right.
Yeah, cool.
Are we
Right,
gonna,
Andy can shut up for a while. Let's go.
Are we going to progress to the final beer? Because I'm very conscious that we are at 1 hour and 58 minutes.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like time flies on a Saturday night when you're having beers. Listen, whilst we get the beer out, Stiffo, do you want to talk us through what the last beer is? And it's actually, it's not one last beer. It's actually two last beers.
Hold the line, caller. I will happily talk you through it. I'm just going to go and grab my bottle of it.
Hold the line, caller. Your call is important to us. We will get to you as soon as our assistants are available.
Yeah, you are in the queue, number 22.
You are caller number 26 in the queue. Please click 1 now to win your chance of taking home a prize.
Right, here we go. So,
Is this the unlabeled bottle?
Correct.
Yeah, this is the contraband bottle. So everybody that is currently watching this live stream, you're about to get a little preview of tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. So tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.
Hold on a sec, Stiffo. What time was that and whereabouts is it?
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
The Malt Miller YouTube channel.
Yeah. We are broadcasting part 4 of our most recent collaboration with Thornbridge Brewery. So in this glass, in this bottle, is homebrew Jaipur. And I have to say, I said it earlier that all of the collaborations we do with commercial breweries are one of the biggest highlights of my, my experience working at the Malt Miller. The work we've done with Thornbridge has been absolutely fantastic. To be given the recipe for such an iconic beer that's 20 years old. It's a West Coast IPA that's 20 years old that started here, right? How many other West Coast IPAs have come and gone in that amount of time, yet Jaipur endures in different formats, whether it's cask, whether it's bottle, whether it's can, whether it's mini keg. It really is an icon of modern brewing in this country. So to get the recipe and spend the time with the team up there, and they've all been so lovely and accommodating, has been a real privilege. And he isn't here, but he may well still be listening. Martin, you're one of my best mates, but you're also one of the best homebrewers I've ever met. Your tenacity to nail down a recipe and develop it through different variations to get to the point where you're happy with something before we put it out on the website is second to none, mate. And you've done an absolute blinding job with this. So what what you guys have all got is you've got a bottle of the keg version of Jaipur, which is keg, can, bottle. So it's brewed using a Cal Ale yeast. So in this case, it was WHC LAX. You've also got a can of the real thing to try it side by side.
Legend.
Now, the recipe kits are available, and we've got 2 recipe kits now for this. We've got the version we're drinking using Cal Ale. We've also got a cask version. Now, the cask version has a few different liquid yeast strain options. The one we've used, wait and watch tomorrow morning to find out what yeast variation we use, but there's a few different ones on there, and it certainly does.
Bro, you're giving away the farm. Calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Oh, shut up. Keep talking.
No. No,
please, no,
Andy, no. You can wait 12 hours like everyone else. Calm your pants down.
I'm a Hop Edition boy. I get special.
Yeah, shut up. Right, move on.
I get a special treatment.
Anyway,
entitled little shit.
tune in tomorrow morning, see how we get on brewing it.
Good.
But I'm really keen to see what you guys think of this side by side. Now, the first thing, like, come on, you guys talk. Tell us what you think.
Right, literally, Jaipur for me. Right, me and Michael, big Michael. We went to. We were on Spoonies recent. Next we meet up. Brewtube meet up. I don't know if you call it that, but anyway, it was Jaipur was on cask, and like literally we had Jaipur on cask, and my God, right, how good is Jaipur on cask? It's like this sort of highlight fruity sort of thing, but it's just like it's so easy drinking, right? And this is a strong beer. This is like a 5. Is it 5.6 or something?
5.9.
Fucking right! Wow. Right, so Jaipur is not weak, and it's such a good beer, right? So I was like, so when you guys, I literally had it on cask, and the fruitiness of Jaipur, because Jaipur basically started Brewdog, because I'm pretty sure that's what drove Punk IPA as well, right? So it is a very, very, very special beer. So for me, I have been buzzing for this because it is definitely a beer I could see me doing at home. If you guys do a recipe kit, let's not lie, right? Me and Brooksy have even been chatting in the background. Because Brooksy was like, oh, there's been development stuff going in the back, right? He'd found Reiki's secret development thing on the Malt Miller website, right? So me and Brooksy have been talking about because I could see like the hop amounts and all that, and then it was like, oh, why is it taking so many? Because let's not lie, this is taking a lot of effort from you to convert this. You had the commercial version, and then now it's like you're trying to then make it on a homebrew scale, and that is a total different game ball because it's like they've got big efficiency scales on their kettles, and then to try and replicate the same sort of feeling and flavour on a 23-litre batch is a different game. And I get that. So this is why you guys have taken so much time. Yeah?
So, Andy, there's a few things there you've said that I think really chime with us. First and foremost, the person that's put the recipe development into this is Reiki, and I've mentioned it before, the tenacity shown with this has been absolutely incredible. The challenges we've had have been, number one, getting the bitterness levels where they need to be, because that's really difficult on a homebrew scale. The other stuff that's been interesting, or the other things that maybe you mentioned there that resonate with us, is that there are loads of homebrew recipes out there for Jaipur, right? And there'll be recipes that people have gathered like snippets of information and they've pulled together, and they therefore think that that's a really good example of it. What they don't get is the people behind it and the process. Mm-hmm. And that's where the Brew With Us project uncover the processes behind things and the people, and that's what enables us to then think, right, how do we pay homage to those people and those processes in everything we do. And in this beer as well, there are some very specific things. Now, we've already covered in some of the other videos that we've talked about in the run up to this. Thornbridge love whole hops, absolutely love them. And I think that we put a pin in a point earlier, which was what are the most recent kind of revelations or bits of secret sauce. Well, there is a running theme that we're finding at the moment, which is that certain breweries advocate for whole hops, and there's a reason for that. Now, that doesn't mean that T90s or advanced products are inferior. It just means that it's a different product, and if you're looking for a different
flavor
characteristic, then actually there is a case where whole hops give you that characteristic. Mm-hmm. And I think for this, I mean,
it goes T90, whole hops, and then wet hops. Like there's a gradual thing. So you've even got like that whole like fresh hop picking thing. And that's what I would see as the gradual, and it's like whole hops will bring this sort of floral, sort of real kind of another element, but it depends what you're looking for, because if you're wanting a nuanced sort of beer, then yeah, whole hops. But if you're looking for like dang, boom, Hazy, bang, then it's like right, go T90, go with the liquid, the hop products, because if you're wanting like dang juice, let's go, then it's different, isn't it? Because when I'm brewing, I find now when I'm brewing lagers, like we're talking about the whole your first beer of the night, that's when I want to go whole hop. For me personally, as a home brewer, I want to get the big. I get the big, the old mash bags. Like Chris uses mash bags, right? But I keep my mash bag and I use that for my whole hops, and that's like Saz, Hersbrucker, Tetnang, and I'll buy. That's where I get from you guys. I can get that backpacked leaf hop sort of thing. And then that's when I want nuanced, because I really want that floral sort of like real nuanced sort of thing from my lagers.
It's almost the difference between a roller brush and a 2B pencil, isn't it?
Yeah, so
that's a stretch.
That's a very specific pencil that you've called out a 2B. So I would personally go for an 8B.
Maybe
probably at least a 4 or a 6B.
It's a pencil versus a roller brush, I know
so
what
anyway,
you're saying, Andy.
We're waxing lyrical about different hop formats, and I've talked a lot about the project.
Right. So
how's the beer?
I like it. I think
that's a good thing.
I think it is a smooth homage to the original.
Yeah,
they're very they're very, very similar.
They are very similar.
Very, very, very.
If anything,
well done. Like literally gave us a can. There's a can.
If anything else, I would say.
Hold on. Right, wait.
The original has a slightly cleaner edge.
Yeah. It's been centrifuged,
I mean, I was going to say there is chemistry involved in this. But, I mean, aside from that, what is it to say?
The hop aroma, I would say, is like bang on.
It's
absolutely.
They have the same sort of They have the same sort of roll on.
It's the same. It's the same roll. It's the same dip. There's not enough bitterness to cut off those hops. They roll and they roll and they roll. I've swear to God, right, I've come to the conclusion over the last 5 weeks I'm autistic. All right, and you may have already...
what?
You may have already come to this conclusion, but it's like everything about this song everything about this beer just reminds me of music.
Oh my God, that's so similar.
Right, so I'm just going to do this because this is only for the for those people who are watching live. So I was drinking this and I decided that it reminded me of Elton John, so I started listening to Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Can you?
And it's one of those songs, it's like, I'm just sitting here and I'm drinking these two beers and I'm like, can you feel the love tonight? And I can't sing for Toffee and I don't care.
And
God, this is good.
Right, wait. And it doesn't have a tannum.
It doesn't, but it's good. No. It's so good.
Is it still Cascade?
It's a good beer.
Yeah. So we switched the Artanum for Cascade. Now, for me, and this is,
I
kind of maybe where we're being a little bit
like punk. That just like punk IPAs a Tannum.
It's got like Artanum's got like a spiky lemon and limey kind of thing going on, which
quite a high note.
Personally, I think you get in the commercial version. Ours feels maybe a touch more resinous, which is probably due to the Cascade.
There's a kick of citrus that's missing, definitely.
But damn, they are close. And the cask version. Well, tune in tomorrow morning because
It might simply be the difference.
Flavor. The flavor's pure, like
Stiffo.
Well done.
It might simply be the difference between centrifuged and not.
Yeah. It brings brightness.
The point I was going to make is, I'd say like the hop characteristic is bang on. I would say maybe the malt differences are probably where it's.
The only difference.
Where the difference is.
No,
I mean, it's exactly the same malt. It's a single malt. It's low colour Marisota.
Yeah, but it's the way it presents, right? And as Chris pointed out, it could be the difference between it being centrifuged and not.
If you look at Andy just held up both glasses, and the commercial version is lighter, right?
It's brighter, yeah.
No, but different depths of glasses.
No, but it is lighter, and this is due to colour pickup in the kettle. You know, we're boiling, 25 litres in a single vessel system versus a monstrous brewing system that's all steam powered. That they're getting a vigorous boil, but the amount that each individual, piece of wort is getting contact with the element is lower. So one thing that we do think you might be able to kind of reduce the boil time.
That's more probably depth wise. Like if you go to the bottom of these two,
I can't fault this beer in any way, shape, or form.
It's down to Reiki, mate.
I can't fault it.
Reiki.
I can't fault it.
I just did what he told me.
Just one sec. Just one sec. Reiki, get on the after party. That's all I have to say. Get on the after party. We need to talk about this. This is an important discussion that needs to be had. Joe, Rob, if you're still listening, if you don't join the after party, I swear we're going to fall out.
This sounds like a high.
This is so close. It's so close.
I think
Reiki said the same thing. Like 50 hectoliter versus 23 liters. It's like it's a different ball game, right?
I mean, that's
it's the
not
same
that much of a volume difference.
No, it's not.
It's exactly the same malt. We use Simpson's low colour Marisota. It's the same malt. So,
God,
this
is say it's the equipment, it's the process, it's the
it tastes the same.
Whatever that
kind of. This is the thing. This is the thing that I was saying earlier. There are loads of clone recipes out there, right, where people have got a brew sheet, or they've spoken to a brewer and they've said, "Oh yeah, we use this, and this."
Yeah.
You don't get the story behind it. You don't get the intrigue, right? No. And I think where that's shown up the most for us has been in certainly this recipe, but there's an Orstal recipe which uses some similar processes. But the tribute recipe, the Verdant Sundialer recipe, so many of these where we've been able to get under the skin, and the brewers have given us the time to really tell us their. And we use the term secret sauce. I think that's a bit diminishing sometimes.
No,
the brewers.
No, it's accurate.
No, 100% secret sauce, man. It's like
there's
that's the secret sauce. It's like what's
but I don't think that term of secret sauce does it justice, because the real thing is the people, and I think the people that are making these decisions in these breweries, that are choosing the way forward, that are choosing the bits of equipment they invest in, that are choosing the methods they use for fermentation or packaging or processing or cellaring, they're the things that make the difference, And I think
absolutely.
The term secret sauce doesn't really encompass the skill that's involved.
Okay, Andy, just stop, because this is important and it follows on.
No,
Stop.
He's right. I could give out a recipe. I've run all four of his brew it, right? And it'll be completely different, all four.
Yep. And it all comes down to this, okay? You can have the same bit of kit with two different people, and the way that they use it will make a difference. By trade, I'm an analytical chemist.
I mean,
okay,
we four of us, like, we are.
I have been there. I have been there in a laboratory with other people doing the same process, to the same method, to the same analytical equipment, calibrated the same way, and what you get out at the other end is always a little bit different. regardless. It's always a little bit different. And it's the human factor. And that's the difference. Like, we can sit here. They're gone. They're there right now. They're not going to be there in about 20 minutes. They're gone. Okay? The purest thing that you can say is that the human element is a massive part of beer. Essentially, it's the difference between having Anthony Worrell Thompson and Gordon Ramsay making the same recipe in the same kitchen, using the same kit. It's going to taste different.
Yeah, because Anthony Worrell Thompson probably stole the kit from Tesco's.
But it's Anthony Worrell Thompson, mate, and he puts gravy with all his recipes, and I'm right there with that.
Chris.
So I went to college in Henley, and Anthony Worrell Thompson lived in Henley, and famously got arrested in Tesco's Henley for stealing batteries.
He is just one of the greatest chefs I've ever eaten the food of ever.
See when someone put these two beers in front of you, right, and said, right, if you can pick the, like, say there was two the same, like, and then one, and then it says, right, pick the odd one out. Do you think
that's not a fair?
No, but do you think you could actually do that?
Yes.
I genuinely don't. Personally, I was just like, could I pick these two beers apart?
Knowing what I know about beer and having the experience that I have of drinking beer, I could tell you the difference, which one's commercial and which one's not. I could tell you that just from drinking the two. But that's not the point that you need to make, Andy. The point that you need to make...
Like, no. I'm just trying to say by saying, and I'm just like...
I swear to God.
Could I personally like go, I
can tell you the difference between the two straight off. And it simply comes down to one thing. And it's, on the palate, there is a clarity of flavour that you get from a beer that has been centrifuged and a beer that hasn't. And that is the only difference. That's the only difference.
A slight highlight of a tannum, I think. On the
so there's Chris, I'm going to chime in on this, on your point, because, you know, this was packaged the day that I shipped those beers out to you, right? So earlier this week, I think it was Wednesday, yeah.
Legend.
We filmed for this on Thursday for the video, like the tail end of the video, you know, after we brewed it, tasting it. That came out on that. We filmed that on Thursday. Rob and I then tried the beer on Friday for the reel that we put out for those of you that follow us on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok.
Oh dear God, you're not on TikTok, are you?
Oh yeah, it's Reiki dancing.
That's a problem.
And on Friday, the difference in flavour between Thursday and Friday was marked. Friday, when we tried it, the punchiness of the citrus notes just shine through more. And I think sometimes we know this, right? We're home brewers. We're impatient.
See about this. If I'm cloning this, I'm going, I have cloned the best version of this ever. You know, it's like,
yeah. Andy doesn't sound drunk at all.
The difference, like, it is. I don't know.
But we were always honest. We always call out the differences as well when we do these. We always look at, like,
there is a clarity difference of flavour, not of colour.
No,
of
there's
flavour.
zero flavour difference. There's maybe a slight aroma difference, but flavour, I am like, there is zilch flavour on this.
Oh, Stiffo, right? Just hear me out for a second, because I'm gonna summarise this as well as I can. I'm not going to turn down this beer if somebody hands it to me. Nah. I'm also not going to turn down the recipe kit.
Nah.
But at the same time, from what you've just said, you've backed up exactly what I've said. There is a difference.
No, Chris, I'd love to put you in a room, right? And it's like all these different tasters, right? And it'd be like, right, Chris, you have got to choose the odd one out, and then just you getting it wrong all the time. It'd just be like,
I'm fairly confident that based on the flavour difference between these two, I wouldn't get it wrong.
No way.
I wouldn't.
Like aroma, maybe.
It's just sat there in the corner, like.
It's the difference between 50 heck and 23 litres, like
this
fucking Reiki's just said.
A little bit sharper. Like
if
the
I say anything, I'm fairly sure I'm just going to get interrupted by.
Go for it, Owen. Just say it. I'll mute Andy for you. Go on. I'll mute you. I have the ability. Go on. You can't say anything now.
No, I reckon I could probably tell just from the aroma.
You can tell the difference. However,
there is a difference. There is
I'm
a difference.
not disappointed.
But it's not knocking the homebrew version. The reality is you cannot compare.
Owen. Right.
Don't interrupt me, Andy.
No, I need to.
I literally said 30 seconds ago, if I say something, Andy's going to interrupt me. And you just interrupted me.
Andy, he doesn't want to buy a mini Metro, so just let him talk.
Sorry, Tibbs, talk to me. What's that? Your mother's just turned 80? Very good. I just think you can't compare. It's comparing a Ford Focus to a Mini Metro. But they're both great cars, classics.
It's not.
The thing is,
go on, have it.
The thing is, for me, with all of these, and I don't want to use the term clones because
it's a tribute.
Tribute feels more appropriate, right? We can take you 80-90% of the way, right, by trying to interpret things and deal with processes and that kind of stuff. The rest of it is down to you at home and how you brew it and the effort you put in. And I think that, this recipe, if we were to if we left it in the keg for another week, right, and you were sat here trying it, this exactly the same beer out of the same keg in a week's time, I think you'd notice another difference.
Fair point. Yeah. I mean, this is a young beer, isn't it?
If you had a
massive difference.
No, it is literally a tannum.
But we can't get a tannum in leaf. So, and we're not going to put T90 in because that's not what Thornbridge do. And they said to us, if you're going to replace it, at times we have to think about different variants. We would use Cascade in its place because they're such advocates of leaf, and Rob even talks about the lupulin gland, and what's the piece running through the middle of the hop?
Stalk.
The stamen.
The stick thing in the middle. There's like those things they bring something to the finished beer, and guy knows what he's doing, right? Who will be to argue?
There's zero taste difference on these. Like
there is a massive taste difference.
There's not. It's like the aroma. The aroma.
You two need to
we're going to.
Andy, you have eaten far too many deep fried pizzas tonight, mate. That's the difference.
Go and have a pizza crunch.
No, but that's how impressed I am. Right.
No, it's great.
I'm going for a pit stop, and I'm going to carry on listening to this one.
This is gonna get chewy, Stiffo. That's what it's gonna get.
The thing is, I'm so invested in this Thornbridge Jaipur. It's like finding the ultimate
Thornbridge, not Stonebridge.
I said Thornbridge.
It didn't sound like it.
It must have been my Scottish, like.
No, it's the fact that you hammered, you dickhead.
Nah, totally. Right, but it's so close. It's unreal.
It's very, very close, Andy. That's not the point that we're making.
I don't get why you can't just say,
we're literally debating the colour blue.
That literally.
Right.
I'll tell you what the difference is.
The
difference here.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree with you. They are very close.
It's
they are very close. We're talking the difference between navy royal blue and navy blue.
I love Lance. I love Lance because he's on the pronunciation.
100%. But I'm shocked. I didn't think they'd be this close.
But
I thought it'd be two totally different beers.
No, Andy.
The quality
Andy, would you
of
please,
the copy.
One like the original has like a slight high note, and the other one's it's just a slight.
Andy,
the
just
high
do
note
me a
is slightly
favour.
a little
Stop
bit
talking
down.
for just
Agreed.
a second.
Agreed.
Just
Sorry,
stop talking for a second,
passionate about
please.
this.
Agreed.
One thing that I will say to this is, right,
It's awesome.
it is a great recipe kit. It's phenomenal. Okay? It's really, really good. But, like all clones, there are elements which give you a difference between the beers. And the can has a clarity of taste which this doesn't have.
Slightly higher.
Exactly my point. Now, I'm not saying that this is better and this is worse. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, it's the difference between having a Ford Focus RS and a Metro 6R4, which is the only analogy I can use which is appropriate. If you've ever seen a Metro 6R4, it's a Group B rally car, which is ridiculous. Go and Google it, right? Right now, Google Metro 6R4.
See if you want to do a Thornbridge.
This is the difference. This is the difference.
Just put the order in.
I'm going to say, Lance, do not ever say that. The Metro 6R4 is a godlike car. But the point is, I would happily smash a shitload of both of these. That's the point I'm making. There's a difference, but it's not to the point where I would turn around and say, I prefer this to this or this to this. I'm happy to drink both. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think Tricky said it all.
Choo-choo.
Gay. Yeah.
No, I thought it was a choo-choo.
So that's where I've concluded this conversation.
This is
both
I love
excellent
this.
beers.
No,
I love
the
this.
differences are very
Well,
small.
version's better.
Yeah, but a great.
It's such a good talking point, right? And clones,
great rendition.
you know, or
Clones.
tributes, as we've said.
Tributes, great tribute.
So varied. I mean, we've got some. One of the beers that I was planning to send you tonight, and that we did talk about, was our upcoming Brew with Us.
Don't blow it! 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 Don't blow it!
I'm just going to say that.
Don't
go.
I'm not going to blow anything.
I swear to God.
That's reassuring.
I've already put it on our Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
It was meant to be our Dea clone, but it didn't last very well in the keg, and it was oxidized when I came to package it for you. But the fresh version that we took with us.
Oh my God.
Today,
I'm sorry, Stiffo. I'm getting argued with my Reiki here. He's telling me that the 6R4 ain't no Metro. It is, because the badge on the back says Metro Reiki. Come on, dude.
Well,
this is going to be an interesting after party.
This is party debate rather than a full podcast discussion.
So anyway,
right,
I'm really pleased you've enjoyed it, and
it's
invoked a lot of conversation.
It's superb.
It's invoked a lot of passion.
Staffo, you're talking about. You're going to talk about a Dea beer.
Yeah, so we've got our next Brew with Us is with Dea. It's already in the can. It's ready to go. It's going to be coming out in a few weeks. And I can't tell you what the beer is. I'm not going to give away anything of what we did during the process, but we tried our version against the commercial version of it. And it was 98% of the way there, you know?
Stiffo, quick question.
I think 98% of the way there is great.
Was it a calm, cylindrical motion male?
What? No.
Okay. At least Stiffo got that one. You didn't, Andy, because you're hammered, son. Stiffo nearly got that one. That's all good.
No, I got it. Yeah, it isn't that one.
It isn't. That's a shame. Because I'd love to get the recipe for that one for a homebrew.
So would I. But
so would most of the UK. Let's be facing it.
Yeah. I mean, they spent
I don't
so
think they're
much
going to
time
be giving that one
developing
away
that
anytime
recipe.
soon, are they? Yeah.
Chris, I'm just really passionate about this this beer. Honestly, it's a case of I know how hard it is to do a clone beer, and like I'm so impressed that the guys at the Malt Miller managed to get such a good match on these. And I know you can go, it's not matched or whatever, but these are super close, and it is literally just on it. There's a couple of points in aroma, right? Okay, but it's like there's these little high notes. Maybe it is a tannum that they couldn't get, but I am blown away at how the flavor just matches up. Like, it is insane.
It's really good.
And
it's
like,
really good.
I can't express how much I've been watching this series with passion on YouTube. Like, and I know how much these guys have put into this series, and to get sent them to me, right? To get sent them, Chris.
Oh right. No, I've got nothing. I love Stiffo. I love Stiffo. I love the Malt Miller. I love you guys. I do.
It's insane, right?
But you cannot taste these side by side and tell me they're exact. You can't.
No, because I can tell there's an aroma difference, right?
Exactly.
Where the original has a high note, right? But when I get to flavour, I'm just like, wow.
Owen wants to talk.
These are so similar.
I think for the benefit of our listeners, I think we've discussed this enough.
I think we have. Right, Stiffo, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute all three of us. You have 5 minutes. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You've got 3 minutes. Talk fast. Tell us about new stuff from the Malt Miller. We're all going to shut the fuck up.
Nothing. Oh, new stuff from the Malt Miller. Right, so I've already talked a little bit about how our crossover hobbies thing is growing, right? And you need to keep your eyes open because we've got some exciting stuff coming with like the outdoor cooking arena. I think that's something that, you know, we're really passionate about because, yeah, we're home brewers, but we love cooking, right? And we love outdoor cooking. So please keep your eyes on that. And over the coming year as well, we're going to be working hard on that. I've already said that from a video kind of recipe kit perspective, we have the thing already in the can with Daya, which is coming up, which I'm super excited about. I love Daya, and it's one that I've been so keen to get in the can ever since I started, actually, from 3-4 years ago. We really wanted to work with Daya, and we're so pleased to get it over the line. And the team there are amazing. There's so much knowledge in that place, and they have a very, very, very unique, I say unique, clear probably would be the better way to put it, perspective that they always want to strive to be better. And I think that shows up in both the content we're going to put out and the recipe kit, I hope, for people. Brew with Us this year is shaping up to be really exciting. So like I said, we've done Thornbridge, we've got Daya in the can. We've also got some others in the pipeline. So we're currently in sort of date discussion phase with Sure Shot, because we're big fans of Sure Shot. You know, they do some great stuff. And yeah, I think that anybody that's a fan of Sure Shot that tunes into this, or that home brews are going to be
brewery. Great
brewery. They're going to be really pleased with the recipe kit that we're working on with them. Then we're about to hit 3 years since we started Brew with Us. If anybody can remember the first brewery we worked with, call it out now, because I'd love to see if anybody can actually hit that's in the comments and watching this, because we are going to go back to that place, hopefully in the autumn, and kind of close the loop and do something really cool with those people. Has anybody got it? No, I can't see the comments. So
Siren. It was definitely Siren.
Yeah, it was Siren, right? So it was Soundwave that we did with them. We're looking to do something different with them.
Is it Broken Dreams?
No.
Well, then I'm not watching.
I'm not saying any more right at this point, but we are so keen to get that over the line. One of the breweries we also worked with not long after we did the project with Siren was Utopian. And we think Utopian are probably the most forward-thinking about British brewing ingredients in the UK. You know, they take British
best
produce,
yeah,
and
best lager brew in the UK.
produce some amazing lagers. And so we are really, 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 really keen to do something with them again, and that's in discussion. And you know, there could be some other parties involved with that. So yeah, that's super
James,
keen.
you need to basically I think when we went to there was the kind of they did a battle off between Utopian and the homebrewer, and it was like Utopian just smashed it. And it's like you need to find out why Utopian just smashed it, basically. Because
yes, it's Jeremy. Because Jeremy is absolutely amazing at what he does.
And he did a presentation, and it was like he gave his secret. Like I keep saying this word, secret sauce, but it is for me as a home brewer, secret sauce. That is like, and that's what you give us. It's like, what is the secret sauce? And the secret sauce was like he was doing this like 10-degree, but he wouldn't raise it up to 15 on his lager brews. It was like, oh no, I dump the yeast and then I take it down to the slow crash, and it's like. That's what you need to extract out of them. You need to find out, for me, secret sauce. I keep saying it. But what is the secret sauce in a Utopian brew? And it might be ingredients, but I doubt it. I think Utopian is all about fermentation profile. It's like how they get their yeast to do what they need it to do.
Yeah, my issue with that, Andy, right, is the fact that is secret sauce. Mm-hmm. I agree. But... That is to do with what yeast. Right?
What yeast?
If you try and do that with 34,
boy.
Like you are looking at a puddle of
12
custard.
You need 12.
What did I miss?
No, it's right. It's
you know, I think that
I love that.
Yeah, we'd love to go back and spend some more time with Utopian because they're great people down there. Absolutely fantastic and doing some awesome stuff. And I think they're real champions of modern British brewing.
British ingredients. And the Utopian are pure British ingredients, so they will like use fuggles in the lagers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Can I just jump in and make a suggestion for you guys for maybe a brew with you or a brew with us or whichever way it is round it you do it? Can I suggest Bull House in Belfast? Because I would love to have a homebrew version of Suds or Rolling Papers.
Yeah,
I really genuinely would.
Let's in touch with them, and you know, I'd love to have that discussion.
Yeah, I can hook you up,
mate. Yeah.
That's a good shout.
That is one of the
island visit.
Rolling Papers and Suds are two of the. Honestly, they're two of the best beers I've drunk in a very, very, very long time.
And I will hands down say the difference between drinking it on off the tap versus in can is like a good 25%. Like if you go over to Belfast and have it in their tap room, it is absolutely mint.
They are a fantastic brewery.
Oh, I'm surprised Tricky's not melting yet. He was talking about melting earlier, wasn't he?
Tricky's a bit warm and he's stuck on a train, I think.
Hold on, Owen. Did you go over to Belfast?
Yeah, I went to Belfast in January.
Did you go to the tap room?
Yeah. Yeah, they won.
Why would you go to Belfast and not go to the tap room, dude?
They won the Zebra Award for like best brewery tap room, I think. So they know what they're doing. Like they've got a legit amazing brewery.
Literally, there's no excuse for me not to go over to Belfast and go to this brewery.
You should go, mate.
Reiki's letting me down.
Really good.
Why wouldn't I?
Right, guys, can I just say something? Right, the person who edits these videos is currently asleep on a train somewhere, standing up and still typing messages. Can we please just give Stiffo 5 minutes to finish what he wants to say? Right, and then we can move to an after party where we can all fall asleep while drinking these beers. please.
I've only got one. I've only got one last thing to say, right? And that it is that the continuing innovation and amazement we see from homebrewers is something we want to continue to work on. And for anybody that's watched part 3 of our Thornbridge Brew with Us series, where we explore the Burton Union set, which for me was so intriguing. We went to see Richard Bagley at Wheatlow Craft Brewery. The guy's pushing the boundaries on what homebrew is, right? But he has built his own Burton Union set, right, to match with his 120 litre capacity brewing system, which is, like I said, pushing the boundaries. Those are the things I want to explore more of, right? And we are going to go and spend some time with Richard and do a brew with him and kind of dive a bit deeper than we managed to cover in that video. But that's the stuff that I'm really excited about, spending more time in commercial breweries, but also spending more time with home brewers and seeing what people do at home. And I really want to see what the whole spectrum has to offer, whether it's people at, like I said, at that pushing boundaries end that are doing 120 litre batches and, cellaring and home built Burton Unions. But I want to see the other side as well. I want to see people that are taking small scale stovetop batches.
That'd be really cool, actually.
Did you just, like Gollum, whisper craft beer pie? You did, didn't you?
You need some craft beer pie in your life, Stiffo.
Honestly, when you say all this stuff, I'm just like, craft beer pie. Like, genuinely.
My precious.
My precious.
Craft beer pie is the single greatest thing to happen.
So I've heard.
To the brewing world ever.
Oh, God,
if you're
don't
total,
start these two on craft beer
literally,
pie.
if you're just if you're anti just like
you need ferment pie is what he's saying, Stiffo.
See if you're like brew tools or fucking whatever taking over the world. Like,
I love technology.
If you want Python, love a bit of Python, right? Then
I love technology. I love networking. I love all that kind of stuff. And maybe that's a conversation for the after party.
No, it's not.
I nearly muted Andy right there. It is definitely a conversation for the after party.
We can't have another 20 minutes
right,
to this
podcast. Hold on.
Right, guys, we're done. We're done, Andy. Don't make me mute your bearded Scottish pizza crunch eating ass, because I will. All right? We're done.
If you're an electronic engineer and you know how to do shit, then...
Yeah, okay, let's just mute him. We're done.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. Right? I am going to call officially, as I always do. This is episode 118, guys, and it is in the bag. Stiffo, god damn, I love you, man. Next time I see you, you're getting such a big kiss and a hug.
Can't wait.
All right? Tongues if you want them. That's all I'm saying. All right? We're there. Guys, brilliant episode. Absolutely loved it. They are closer than they are apart. That is all I will say. If you haven't ordered a kit from the Malt Miller, order this one. Because it's a gateway drug, guys. It's going to get you into all kinds of weird shit. All right, that's all I'm saying. And, Stiffo, if your House Hazy Pale does not end up on a recipe kit within the next 3 days, personally, I'm going to drive down to Swindon. You and me are going to have a conversation, and it ain't going to end well for you.
You mean the West Coast Pale, right?
Obviously, that's exactly what I said, the West Coast Pale. Not that I'm drunk at all. This has been a brilliant podcast. You have such an epic story, Stiffo. You really, really do. It's phenomenal. The fact that Rob and his wonderful wife, whose name escapes me right now because I'm slightly drunk,
Joanna.
That's the one. It was right. It was on the tip of my tongue, dude. They gave you the opportunity to shine as you have done within this space. I think that's amazing. And Reiki, god damn, I know you're not on this podcast, man, but I love you, dude. Right? That's all I'm going to say. We're going to go to an after party, so I need Owen to do the calm down, the clean down, the shut down, and the calm down. And we're going to move to an after party. Please join this after party, because this one is going to be a good one. There's going to be some arguments about cars. There's going to be some arguments about beers, and Stiffo is probably going to cut loose and actually start swearing, which he hasn't done, which I'm very disappointed about, I have to say. Very disappointed.
Professional
but
to the
we're
end,
going to do this one. Yeah. Those are the rumours, mate. Let's give this one a go. 18's in the bag. Call it, Owen. Do the close down.
Oh, we are there, and I think I might be the only slightly semi-sober member of the Hop Edition still standing, because based on Chris's outro, that was fairly drunken.
I'm not drunken. Neither is my cat.
Yeah, apparently so. If you're in a submarine. So, Stiffo, it's been a pleasure, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the beers. Really appreciate it.
I'm really sorry about the house hazy and that it was brown dishwater.
You can make it up to me. All right? With time, you can make it up to me. It's fine. And I'll send you some beers, I promise. All right? Send me some dates as to where I can get those beers to you.
Our business address is on the website. So,
perfect. Consider it done. Consider it done. The thing is, I've got to make sure that you don't steal all the beers, or Reiki doesn't steal all the beers. I've got to get a commitment from you that there's going to be an equal share, and you're going to be equitable about this whole thing. But listen, it's been a lot of fun. We're going to post, and Chris has already posted, a link to our meet up on Google Meetups. It's always a lot of fun. Andy's dying to talk. He's literally having to grasp his face. But listen, episode 118 in the bag. Stiffo, love you. Peace out.
Love you guys too.
Stiffo, you're an absolute legend.
Jaipur
absolute legend.
Right, everyone
love you, man.
say adios. Hasta luego.
Shall I end the stream then, since nobody else can be bothered to click it? There we go. We're done. Bye.
Bye.